We just pulled up to Timmy's house. Just need to plug in the speakers and we're good to go.
Unloading the instruments, setting up, getting ready to go, wake the whole neighborhood.
Retarded fat idiot, pathetic retarded loser, pathetic retarded poser, retarded screaming louder, retarded thunder. You are retarded, break you down. Half-time retard stutters every word. Loser, dead weight retarded loser. Fake fraud, pretend exposer. Loser, screaming louder. Hit the ground. I'm retarded. I'm retarded. I'm retarded. You are 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 retarded.
Oh my God, I saw that. I don't know if it's gonna get me a copyright strike or something, but I had to play it, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll have to clip it out or something, maybe. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I thought it was just too good, just too good not to pass up. And oh wow, coming in hot. First thing of the evening is Wrestler Town with one gifted membership. Wow, thank you so much, Wrestler Town. So right there, before I even get to give my spiel, I have to say that the The goal is now reduced by $6. $6. That's right. We are now $94 away from the first additional hour and $44. I'm sorry, $94 away and $44 away from Bellavision. Yes, gave that. Yes, yeah, that was awesome. Yes, I thought it was pretty awesome. Thank you so much, Rustler Town. Let's see who got that gift of membership while we're at it here. Cinnamon Squirrelay. It's not squirrel, squirrelay, squirrella. Cinnamon Squirrella, Squirrella, something, I don't know. Rustler Town gave you a gifted membership. So, yes. So let's see who's here tonight. I got some other funny videos to play before we get into the news, which are kind of news related, but I'm trying to do a little more of that stuff to make it. I don't know how to put it. A more entertaining show. I've been told my show's too dry, so we'll see. Got Jody's here. What's up? Says good evening, all. Plus he tickled, has been tickled. Yes. God bless you all. Yes. SB Farmer's here. I got that. I'll show it later. And then AI generate but funny in a POV of a stormtrooper. Okay. Thank you, SB Farmer. Sharon Tyler's here. Hello, Jim and the Jimsomniacs. Yes. G Sharkman's here. How you doing? Great to see you. Jay Schwartz is here too. Awesome. Good evening, everybody. Maybe tonight I'll actually be able to see the beginning of the show. Well, I started an hour late just so you could be on time, Jay Schwartz. I hope you appreciate it. None of your business is here too. Good evening. What's up? We'll call Magic. How you doing? Miss Hacker. How you doing? Great to see you. Gypsy. What's up? Whoa, I'm here before Bella. I mean Jim. Yeah, Gypsy. Yes. Unfortunately, my grandson kidnapped Bella about 15 minutes ago, so I'm going to have to get her back if the time comes. Hey, Dunya. Yeah, what's up? Spuds is here too. What's up? Ads are not on. I shut them off. I hate ads. I shut the ads off. Thanks, Spuds. Thanks for letting me know, Sharkman. I shut them off. Mr. Dan is here. How you doing? Other Gagax. How you doing? Great to see you. It has been tickled. Ads are off. Hey, Audra's here. What's up, Audra? Great to see you. Hi, all. Yeah, Steve Hilliard's here. Great to see you, too. Spuds, yes, great to see you. Renee Collins is here. Awesome. And then, hey, what's up, Petre Esquire? Peter Esquire or Petre Esque? I don't know if you're a lawyer or if it's, but happy to see you here. It's great to be here. Great to have you here. Matt Druid is here. What's up, Matt? Awesome retard music video. Thanks. It was. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I got to play this. Are we a cult like Joe had going? I don't know if we're a cult. We're just a group of like-minded individuals that see things the right way. And oh my God, Jay Wills is here for a gifted membership. Thank you so much, Jay Wills. Let's see who got that one. And that would be website Kilo 9072. WEVS Itco Kilo. I don't know. Something. Weave site Kilo. I don't know. Whatever. But you got a gifted membership. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. And with that, then goal is reduced to 8838. What do you know? 8838. Those numbers. 88 in 1938. Huh. Very suspicious. Very suspicious. Woodtick Mike's here too. What's up, Woodtick Mike? So great to see you. Awesome. Hey, Marjorie's here too. Great to see you, Marjorie. Sharon Taylor, great to see you. Beautiful cat. What's up? Where is the dog? The dog got kidnapped by my grandson. I don't think. Let me see. You can see this dog if you want, real quick. I can show you this dog. I can show you that one. See, she's just chilling there. Uh-oh. So I'll get her. I'll get her when the time comes. If and when the time comes, I'll go fetch her. I need to see the dog. Well, just played that at 1.5 speed to catch up. It was awesome. And then he go, great to see you too. Beautiful cat, you too. Ank, what's up? Great to see you too. Pet Rescue 1. Okay. Pet Rescue quarter 1. Okay. Pet Rescue 1. Okay. Pet Rescue 1. Okay. Pet Rescue 1. Sorry, I had to go back and watch the Thrasher Trump again. Howdy, folks. Oh, great to see you, Jay Lee God. It's always with sunshine in the mornings. Great to see you, sunshine. How you doing? You two, Barbie World's here. Great to see you again, Barbie World. Tim Lorsong's here. Good. MacGyver's here. Bella on the lam. Well, she got kind of kidnapped, but we'll get her. Gypsy says, we got a smart group here. That says AI Bella can't fool us. Well, we'll see. I still say we are a cult. Tracksuits are optional. Okay, you say so. Who am I to call, I'm just not the leader. I'm just a guy pointing things out. That's all. So let's see this other one here. We got this, which I thought was very funny, and I wanted to bring up because I thought this was very, very telling. Ilhan Omar says that the Somalians are the actual victims of the $1 billion Feeding Our Future fraud scheme, where the Somalians stole all the tax dollars meant for hungry children, you see. The Somalis are the victims of the Somali fraud. I just saw you were on. Well, Kelly, thank you, and thank you for being here. And Cash and Carrie's here, just getting in. Bella seems only a fraction of the dog she once was. Well, she's been on a diet, She's been on a diet. Joe is the P-leader. Lol, P-leader. Yes. Okay. So let's hear her and see what she has to say.
Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent. And that has added to the spotlight being put specifically on your community. Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Well, I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota. We also could have benefited from the program and the money that was.
It sounds like the Somalis really benefited from the program. It sounds like some Somalis benefited to the tune of about $8 billion. I'm going to leave that there if anyone wants to clip that face she's making. I guess there's something in the water in Minnesota that not only Tim Waltz is retarded. That's clearly the face of retardation.
Stolen. And so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also as Minnesotans, as taxpayers, really upset and angry about the fraud that has occurred.
Of the 87 people charged.
She's very angry about the fraud that has occurred. Kelly says she's rewinding. Yes. And Barbie World says, this makes me sick. It makes me sick too. And then Spuds is like, I'm over here too to help Jim with the algorithm. Yeah, he's over here now to help Jim with the algorithm. I really appreciate that. And hello to everyone else. Too many to say hello to all of you. The faces she's making. Sharon, fingers crossed your husband. Okay, I don't want to. Yeah, fingers crossed your husband gets discharged. The Colt and tracksuits are on locals. This is the ghetto. Ghetto strong. We are invaded, and they're using our money to fund Somalia. Yes, it's terrible. Oh, so she's not American then? Yeah, no, she's not. See, that's the thing. They're not. They don't believe they're Americans. They believe they're Somali for Somali first. Somalia first. Yeah, she smells her own bullshit. She uses the not see trope again. Yeah. Yeah. Lie, cheat, and steal. That's what they do. Sounds like Somalis back in Somalia and benefited. That's what it sounds like. Just need tongue of a snake flickering out of her mouth. I think they're drinking straight from the Mississippi River. Enos in name Americans in name only. Yes, I agree. What's up, Jody? Great. So let's see here. Well, here, since she said that, I thought I would bring this up. She goes, well. Here's Somali illegal Abdul Dahir Ibrahim, who was convicted in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme and was ordered removed in 2004, campaigning for Ilhan Omar in 2016. Now, I'm not a legal expert or anything, but I would think, considering that it's against the law to take money from foreigners in our elections, it's a crime to take money from foreigners. That having foreigners work for your campaign, illegal alien foreigners, would probably also be a crime. But I'm not a lawyer. Yeah, look at it. Oh, Ilhan. Yeah, there's the guy right there. So he works for her campaign, and he's an illegal alien fraudster. Huh. I'm sure she knew nothing about this, right? Every time you push this button, a Somalian gets deported. Push, 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 stop, push, 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 push. And here, let's see. So Somalia cheated the system, but don't blame them. Yeah, the system's at fault for the Somalis being. If the system wasn't so easily to cheat, Dan, they wouldn't have did it. It's really our fault. We tempted them by making it so easy to steal from us, for being open, open in our homes, open in our, borders, and bringing them in and offering to try and help them. We had it coming. We should have known that they were going to rob us. It's basically what she's saying. We should have known better. Omar has some very interesting friends. Yes, she does. It's even vote worse when they vote in our elections. Well, I'm pretty sure that guy voted. If I had a wager, I would bet money on. If I was a place where I could wager, like some kind of bet, like did that guy vote in our elections? Did he vote for Ilhan Omar? Was he out, collecting, harvesting ballots for Ilhan Omar? Oh, I'd put money on it that he was. MacGyver says, good question for Joe. Well, I'd ask him if he ever lets me. No, I'm kidding. I'll ask him when I'm on a show. We'll talk about it. Take that Somali flag she wraps around herself and slip it to the neck and attach it to a lamppost. Minnesota has plenty for all the criminals to be ornaments. I don't know if that's really YouTube friendly. Must be the water just downstream from the nuclear power plant. Oh, kind of like from The Simpsons. Somalians are not very attractive as a group, trying not to say they're ugly. Oh, once a pirate, always a pirate. Yeah, I bet he voted twice, maybe 3 times. Can't get Windows to shut down automatically. Administrator's CMD prompt type shutdown, and then seconds till you want it to shut down. Oh, okay. Omar's dad was a warlord back in Somalia, so there's that influence. Yeah, her dad was part of a Ministry of Information, Disinformation, whatever, for the warlord guy that was running it back in the early 90s. Before it blew up into civil war and everything, and they fled so that they didn't get, justice or whatever you want to call it. And then you wonder what her head actually looks like. I've seen pictures, but I don't know if it's real or not. Where it's all like, anyway. So Somalians are now holding rallies in Somalia to protest Trump and support Ilhan Omar. The Minnesota Vikings are changing their name to Minnesota Pirates.
dowladda Maraykanka jabkii ay u geysatay Soomaaliya waxaan idinka rabnaa inaad maaragtay saf dheer aan u istaagno si ay noo arkaan dowladda Maraykanka inay Soomaaliya dad leedahay si aan u tusno waa inaan saf dheer galnaa kaamila maanada idaacada waaweynaa joogo tiifiyaa joogo marshibiyeedka kaxagga laamiga kaleeta aan tagno miisku raacsannahay inaan Soomaaliya Maraykanka u jawaabno miisku raacsannahay marshibiyeedka kaxagga la geeye dowladda.
Well, I think Phil Coggins has a good point here. He says it's only fair that the Somalians in Somalia protests. She is their representative. Yeah, she told them that she's their representative here in the U.S. She's going to make sure that their interests are protected in the U.S., which is odd. We elect a U.S. congressperson was elected her job is to somehow secure stuff for Somalians. Sharon Tyler says they can have her. Catherine K, great to see you. Hello, good evening, Jim and the Jim Somniacs. Yeah, ain't that cute? It is. Somalians in Somalia are crying because they can't marry children anymore. Catherine Campbell, so great to see you. Always with the hot takes. I didn't know they were putting a stop to them marrying children anymore. I thought they still did all that. They kidnap them like crazy and do nasty, nasty things. Nasty things. Is her mother white because she's very light skinned compared to the others? Her father, from the pictures that I've seen of her father, is very, very light skinned also. So I don't know. I don't know. We got this. We're kind of on a little Somali kick with this. So Minnesota Somalian State Senator Zainab Mohammed says that ICE agents are everywhere in Minnesota, not just Minneapolis. Glad to hear it. They're here to intimidate us, to be aggressive. I hope so. That's what I paid. That's what I voted for. I hope that's what you guys voted for, because it's what I voted for. It's not like Minnesota isn't their largest source of funds for Somalia either. I mean, I'm pretty sure that $8 billion is like more than Somalia's entire GDP. I think their GDP is like 4 or 5 billion. Yes, they are. They raised the age of marriage to 18 now. Oh, they did. Oh, well, that's technically the term Viking doesn't mean pirate. For real, they only refer to themselves as Norsemen. Albino, maybe sunshine. There's a whitey in the woodpile. Usually it's the other way around. There was another thing they would say there's something else in the woodpile. But the YouTube terms of service. I voted for it. Yeah. I voted for it. Yeah. Save the cats and dogs. Saxon Rainey, great to see you tonight. So great that everybody, so many people here tonight. I really want to thank everybody for showing up. But look at this. Another state senator in a hijab.
Hey y'all, I hope you're all doing okay. I am so sorry I'm giving a late update today. It is 3:31 p.m. and it has been a long and a busy day. First update, ICE is still here. They are all over the state of Minnesota. They are not just in Minneapolis and St. Paul. They are in the suburbs. They are in central Minnesota. They are everywhere our community is at. ICE agents were deployed 3 days ago by the hundreds. And let me tell you something, they have only picked up 12 people, and out of those, only 5 are Somalis. So to be...
No, shit.
should know is ICE agents are not here to only pick up Somali people. They are...
Hold on. My bad.
ICE agents were deployed 3 days ago.
I switched tabs too early.
And let me tell you something, they have only picked up 12 people, and out of those, only 5 are Somalis. So to be clear, out of almost 90,000 Somalis in Minnesota, they only found 5 people in 3 days. What you should know is ICE agents are not here to only pick up Somali people. They are here to intimidate us, to be aggressive, and to violate our constitutional rights. Hey y'all, I hope you're all doing okay.
No, they're here to get illegal aliens out, the criminals out. That's what they're here to do. That's what they're here to do. Stuff like this. Amid mass Somali fraud nearing double-digit billions in Minnesota, it's been revealed that Omar's net worth has exploded from $65,000 in 2020 to $30 million in 2024, a 46% increase, with some figures placing her near $40 million in 2025. Oh, look, someone's coming to see me. What? No, you can't give the dog any more treats. What? No, no more treats for the dog. What? No more treats for the dog. Just one? Hold on 1 second. Sorry, everybody. Oof. Let me see what happened while I was gone. Can't we get rid of Ilhan? I hope so. I really do. Ice Ice Baby. That's the Haitians that have a taste for domesticated pets because Congress doesn't hold their members to their oaths. That's right. I hope Trump supports her. New scam being exposed. Somalis run assisted care homes. 35,000 per person makes autism scam look mild. Wow. Good grief. Boo-hoo. Yes. Bull. Lol. Hey, what's up, Cindy? Great to see you. Illegals are criminals by definition. Yep. Deport the invaders. Yes. I know a place they could all go. They don't have any other ethnicity in that city. Wow, they do. They do. Go figure. Hello, little one. Yeah. I had to change a diaper. So that's what took so long. Sorry. When Trump does it, every Soros judge in the country will say he can't. That's what they'll try. Yes, he's adorable. Yes, thank you. Would like to see her forehead looks like after a butt plate. It's her. Oh, sorry, speak to. Okay. Oh, I know, and I get it now. That's what they do. If you are an illegal, then you need to be concerned. If you lied on naturalization forms, you should also be concerned. What should we talk about? Yes, angry. Grandson is a cutie. Thank you, Dawn. You're a wonderful grandfather, very patient. I try. Outlaw hijabs. Islam is also a treat, in my opinion. A threat. I think you mean threat. Immigrants are illegal. Illegals are illegal. Yes. Here we are in our own thoughts during this brief intermission. Doody dum dum da dum da dum 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 dum. Hello, hi, Catherine K. Yes, cesium cat is a threat to the American. It is a threat to the American way of life. Islam extremists aren't here to assimilate; they're here to take over America. They're here to conquer. That's what they're here to do. Be glad the hijab hides the smell from you. God, you imagine what that must smell like? Ugh. So I got a confession, an apology. I confessed to having a dog and cat on the couch with me. Put Plum to sleep last night. I didn't even get 30 minutes in. So how was the show? It was all right last night. It was like. I like gravy. I wonder if I have any leftovers. Why is Jim taking care of his grandson? Is everything okay with his parents? My parents? Or the kid's parents? Well, don't want to get into that right now. The kid was stubborn but cute, so glad he's not a crybaby. No, he's not a crybaby. Sharia law is some sick stuff, yeah. I got to finish my Christmas shopping by tomorrow. Lady Bomba, great to see you. We all need to fad about the white liberal woman wearing a hijab while harping about handmaidens. Yes. No real news. Yeah, last night there wasn't real. It was a rehash of last week's news. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on. I had to cut my dog's hair. She's got syrup in it. Oh my God, that's brutal. It's brutal. We are making ice up here. Yes, that's right. You weren't gone long enough for her to talk about you, Jim. Well, I tried. She loves syrup, no pancakes. So Somalia GDP is about 7.6 billion, and they stole almost double digits from us, like almost 10 billion. It seems. So, wow. So amid the mass fraud nearing double digits in Minnesota, it's been revealed that Illinois' net worth blew up. It's worth almost 40 million. Wow.
Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds. Well, now investigators are tracking the web of...
Wow, so the person's doing events for her. Wow. Well, there was one other thing that I wanted to get before I get into that first news story. That's not it. Well, we can get into this one. So here we go. Mary did this. 2017, this person raped someone, got no jail time. 2025, this person raped someone, got no jail time. And then 2025, arrested for rape again. Ada Mihata Bidi Mohammed. Mary Moriarty, the judge, said, our Somali community members make our state vibrant, and they should be... No, I'm sorry, not judge. She's the DA. She's the Hennepin County District Attorney. She's the one responsible for all this stuff going on. They're vibrant. They're vibrantly They're vibrant. The community is vibrant. Vibrant, they say. One more thing. Where's it at? Oh, here we go. I don't know if you guys saw, there was this woman who got fired from Cinnabon. Some Somalis went into there, and supposedly she called them some bad words. And so they fired her, and there's all this stuff going on, people cheering it. Well, it turns out that it wasn't really what they portrayed it to be. Kind of like the same thing that happened with that previous woman, remember, where the guy was taking the video, and they didn't show what happened before. The guy started taking let me guess, they booked him as white. I don't know. I don't have that information. Wonder where her GoFundMe is. This woman's got a GoFundMe. This one. Before the video, Crystal was harassed for not wearing a hijab by the Somalis. So this woman, was harassed. They were harassing her for not wearing a hijab. Here's the whole video. All right. And they said, we see disturbing behavior. We do not condone this behavior. But see, they purposefully cut parts of the video out where they're harassing her. So let's see.
Sexualizing your body makes you a better person.
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
Do you want me to throw water on you?
So you see, they didn't cut the part out where he's telling her, like basically because she wasn't wearing a hijab, because she's sexualizing her body. It makes her a better person. And you notice there's jump cuts in there. So that's what the Denver mayor says, vibrant. He also calls illegals newcomers, a Soros Reed Hoffman puppet. Or should say how high her GoFundMe is now was 64,000 when I looked. Where the money is. Okay, yeah, she has one. I don't know. It was getting up there. It's gonna get up there. She'll probably pull in. This is not Somalia. It's not. And them harassing her over not wearing a hijab and then recording it and pulling the shit. I'm honestly, I will not be surprised. It will not shock me one bit if what's his face, Keith Ellison, doesn't try to charge her with a crime like they did to the other woman for using the bad word. They charged her with disorderly conduct. Hey, what's up, Fran? Great to see you. So it's at $87,473. So probably 2 years' salary. What she was making at Cinnabon, I don't know what they make at Cinnabon, but it's probably 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year tops was what she was making there. Yeah, whose country? Leave, please. Yeah. She should have served them a plate of bacon. Can we ever reclaim America? The midterms are very important. They are. So we're gonna watch a little. She got fired. They fired her because she does use some very salty language and say some other stuff.
That's nigger. I am racist.
So idiot, for
and
real.
you are a nigger.
You are an idiot. No,
I
I'm
am
not.
racist, and I'll say that to the whole entire world. Don't be disrespectful.
You ruined your life, by the way.
Oh, you talking about respect? You talking about respect? You are fired from this place, motherfucker. You're not gonna be working here.
Suck it.
Suck what? Look how you fucking look
it.
like.
What's wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking ugly bitch? Get the fuck out of
Ugly?
my face.
Talking about ugliness?
Did I stutter?
You're the ugliest person I ever seen in my life.
Good.
Fuck.
Your fucking
No, we're
face
not.
for
No,
what?
we're not. No, we're not.
Because you know damn well you're a
That's
fucking
respect.
evil
That's
fuck.
respect. Keep squeezing that caramel, bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
So, yeah, I would be really interested to see the entire video, because they cut a bunch of stuff out. Why'd they cut a bunch of stuff out? We can be heroes if only for one day. Oh, my damn. Yeah. Yeah, she went there. We need more pig farms. You always want to be leery about crossing a man who keeps pigs. This woman serves thousands of black people per year. I don't believe she does this to all of them. No, they started fucking with her. They chopped it up. They left a little bit in there, just enough to say like, oh, they were fucking with her because she wasn't wearing a hijab, saying she was sexualizing her body and stuff. So they were fucking with her the whole time, and she just snapped. I do think she really wanted to keep that job. I don't think she cared at that point. Once they pushed her, she was like, fuck it. It's probably a minimum wage job. I don't know why they come to Texas with all the wild hogs running around. So, but that's the, this is what happened. She's like, oh, you're fired. This is the thing. These like people, man, they, time to Bud Light Cinnabon. Look at me. I'm the Cinnabon. No. So I thought we should, at least watch that. What is going on? What is going on? And mass migration, J.D. Vance says mass migration is the theft of the American dream. It's always been this way. And every position paper, think tank piece, and econometric study suggests otherwise is paid for by the people getting rich off the old system. Start a GoFundMe for the girl. She's already got one. It's like 87 grand or something like that, 90 grand. It's up to. Pigs eat everything, including the bones, but the teeth still come through. Teeth and hair. Teeth and hair are hard for the pigs to digest. It's rough on their stomachs, per se, the hair and teeth. So just always keep that in mind. You might want to shave and, pull the teeth. Chinese own a lot of pig farms. The guy sounded like Nate. No, he sounded like this is Mago country. Yeah, okay, I get it now. Okay, when Nate said that, yeah. They have a GoFundMe at 30K. No, the woman has it. They have a GoFundMe. The woman has a Give Send Go that's like 80K. I'm sure they probably have a GoFundMe. Almost cut up. Hi, I would like to hear her story. Really would, yeah. Gotta love pork. Give Send Go. Help Crystal. Oh, we'll pull that up just so everyone can see it. Here's her Give Send Go right here. And it's 87,000 raised. Goal is 109,000. Hardworking white mom doing her job at Cinnabon. Two Somali customers decided to make her shift hell with intimidation. Instead of banning the offenders and backing their employees, Cinnabon fires Crystal to keep the nons happy. We're not letting this slide. Funds go to making sure Crystal lands on her feet after this betrayal. No white person should lose their job for refusing to be harassed by Somalians. Just how about no person should be harassed by Somalians? It's not the EU. No one should be fired over words when they're being harassed. Stealing unprovoked physical assaults, bad attendance. Yes. So, well, there it is. There that is. So, yeah, so J.D. Vance says that, because the construction company owner says he's seeing a difference ever since ICE has been in Louisiana. No immigrants want to go to work. And this is amazing. I've gotten more calls in the last week than I've gotten in the last 3 months.
So we've had ICE and DHS down in Louisiana for about a week now. And as a business owner, I've been running my own construction company since I was 18 years old. I'm 27 now. We do painting, roofing, drywall, tile, ceramics, trim, molding, carpentry, flooring, concrete, a little bit of everything. I'm seeing firsthand just the shockwave them boys are sending across the state. No immigrants want to go to work. None of them want to even ride in a truck like mine with a ladder rack on it. And it is so amazing. I've gotten more calls in the last week than I've gotten in the last 3 months. I got 20 calls in one day. GC scrambling to try and finish projects. Halfway through, these guys not showing up to work, starting projects. Landlords, you know how a landlord always has, their go-to guy they call. Always ain't showing up to do nothing. And this just shows you how bad the problem is down here in Louisiana. I mean, we got a population in our whole state that's like the size of LA County. Genuinely, in our whole state. And they have filled this place like no other. And I've got to see through the presidencies. We had our little heyday with Trump's first go-round, 99 cents a gallon gas. Even with the immigrants here, shit was still amazing. They weren't pushing like they are right now. Joe Biden got into office, he really fucked my industry bad. To the point to where the only people that are lining their pockets are the GCs that are hiring these guys. Because it's the only way. I mean, shit, you send in a proposal, my last name is Flores. Let me start there before people start calling me racist. I'm just speaking the truth. You send a proposal in and you have one that's like half the price of that. 90% of the time, they're going to go with that cheap one. And that's how it's been down here in Louisiana. It's just everybody competing to get the bottom dollar. I'm talking roofing. They want to pay $60 and $80 a square for tear off and reinstallation. And I'm like, fuck that. These people still trying to call around to try and find that at that price. You're never going to find that shit. I think $150 a square for a walkable tear off and reinstallation is cheap. Cheap! $2 a square for non-walkable is cheap. Without materials. Y'all are crazy. And I'm so happy. Things are about to get better. GC's going to have to start paying up. Everything's about to get realistic. These people are like, oh, we got them on all these positions. We got all these immigrants working in assisted facilities. Them motherfuckers make bank. You don't think they can pay an American to work? They don't want to. What about the farming industry? It's the same shit. It's billion-dollar companies. The fruit industry, people are like, we're not going to have orange juice. Bullshit. Pay up. Y'all can't pay $20 an hour? It's ridiculous. And I'm just so happy. All these people protesting with signs about them being here, let them talk about going to leave. I'm going to be down there with the biggest sign you ever seen, and I know I'll have people with me saying, ICE, please don't go. I'm going to be singing to them. I don't care. I'm going to have my microphone, a big old speaker. I'm going to serenade them to stay. Because seriously, we need this. I need this. I got 3 kids, and I know I speak for so many people who are in that same line of business that I'm in and has just gotten tore apart by these people that don't even want to be here. They don't want to stay here. They want to build their 5-6 bedroom ranch house back home, send money to take care of their wife's family and their family, while they're able to still take care of themselves over here. Yeah. Where can we go to make 100 to 50 to 100x a day? Most of these cats I talk to, what they would make back home was $5 a day in like a Red Bull, $5 a day in a Monster Energy. The foreman's making $10 a day. Where can we go to make 50 to 100x a day and send shit back where we live to build a 5-6 bedroom house? Most of you motherfuckers got a big ass piece of land. It's not fair. And anybody who thinks to say it's fair and they deserve to be here, you cannot be an American. You cannot have that blood going through your veins, for real. You hate your country. I'm so thankful for ICE and DHS. I'm glazing them. I don't give a fuck.
Huh. Well, that's a very interesting take, ain't it? That's someone who actually is doing construction, and that's what he says. I don't have a reason not to believe him. Gilly Claw says there has to be more to this story. I'm thinking he's talking about the story of the woman with the Somalis. I would say there's definitely more to that story. It's a contest to see who can raise more money. They raise for criminals, we raise for causes. Hank, what? I thought possum was the other white meat. Send the ICE agents to New Orleans. I think they are. I thought they were telling them to New Orleans. I saw that report the other day. Kelly says, Bella Forth. Hey, Kelly, great to see you. My stepson does construction, says Lady Bama, and he has work orders coming out of his ears. That's great, Pat Hacker says, and it is. Get rid of all the illegal immigrants in New Orleans. Peggy Brew. I think it's Brew. KPT says, I get beat out of jobs all the time. I pay 31% in taxes on everything I make. I never hire illegals, but my competition does. Yeah. Kelly says, he's cute. Paddocks, I hear you, KPT. I would gladly, Phil Coggins says, I would gladly pay higher prices if it meant every illegal immigrant were deported. I honestly think prices would come down if we deported them. I mean, it's supply and demand. The more people there are here buying stuff, renting places, renting houses, buying stuff, causes prices to go up. It's just the way it works. Simple economics. He's building a Domino's Pizza, working on a house. They want him to build a golf driving range. That's awesome. I bet this is more common than you hear. Definitely more common. Truck driver here, I understand exactly what this man is talking about. Lost 2 jobs because of the illegals. Well, Papo Naya Shelley, great to see you. I'm glad you're here, and I'm sorry to hear that. And we have to get them out. I mean, that's just the bottom line. They got to go. The illegals got to go. Americans need jobs. They also rent houses, a pack a dozen to split the cost. Yeah. Times are changing. The Southwest has been invaded, all our jobs stolen. It's everywhere, man. It's been going on a long time. It's got to stop. Peggy says, I am in New Orleans. We're going to have more jobs and housing once the deportations wrap up. Yeah, it's supply and demand. It's simple supply and demand. Simple supply and demand. And then back to the Somalians for a second here. I missed this one. So it says, Mike Davis says that Ilhan Omar served as an architect of the massive Somali fraud scheme in Minnesota, the biggest fraud scheme ever. Her response? Racism. Send them home. Ilhan Omar, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. Boy, man, they sure learn quick, don't they, just to call someone a Nazi. And that they can just get you away with anything. You can do whatever you want, call someone a Nazi. Kind of the same thing we kind of see. This is kind of exactly what we saw with that Cinnabon person. Get him, call him a racist. Like I wonder with that Cinnabon lady, did they call her a racist or a Nazi that made her call them names and say, yeah, I'm a racist, whatever? Because it's kind of weird for someone to just say that.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, no magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands. What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. And as we know, there have been many immigrants who've tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants. And to me, we're, yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans. Yeah. We are citizens. We are productive.
I guess you could say they're productive. They fucking stole $8 billion. That's pretty productive for Somalia.
Of this nation, and we will continue to be.
Congresswoman Omar.
SB Farmer says deportations over 4 years will free up 10 million housing units, according to HUD. Well, that's great news. And we'll also save money on not having to translate everything into 6 languages. That's true. Ironic that she's on the side of the Nazis. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Crazy. And Audra says, Papo Nea Shelley, welcome to the Jim Somniacs. Glad you're here. Oh my God, this again. She is so smug. Yeah. Jewish people did not invade. No, they didn't. And it's funny because like Tammy KC says that Stephen Miller is Jewish. It's kind of weird that she's saying this about a Jewish person. Oh. And if I not remember correctly, she's said a lot of things about Jewish people. She got accused of being anti-Semite because she said a bunch of stuff about Jewish people. She almost got, they wanted to, censure her. And I think there was some kind of deal cut. Kelly says thieves. Yeah, thieves are very productive. We're exhausted with the welfare mentality. Yes, we are. Productive. She's a multimillionaire thief. Yes, she is. Omar is retarded. Miller is Jewish. Now I have to drive to her house and yell retard. Yeah. Yep, they pirated that crap right out of here. Somalian, Ethiopian Jews had to be evacuated by Israel because of the tolerance exercised by her people. You're not a citizen until you are naturalized. Joe says, hey, I'm late. Go back to the start and fill me in. I don't want to start and have to catch up. Thanks. Okay, I'll try. Somalis are a bunch of thieves, and they stole a bunch of shit, $8 billion. And they're the victims. The thieves are the victims. The thieves are the victims. All right, let's jump into this. Mike Davis says, another lawless order by another Democrat activist judge. After these shameful D.C. judges persecuted Trump supporters for years after January 6th, they suddenly pretend to care about rights to protect political allies. The D.C. District Court is a national disgrace. Defund it. That's right. Judge orders key evidence in dismissed Comey case puts off limits to prosecutors. That's right. The judge that dismissed the charges and said the indictment was no good because of some whatever reason, that she disqualified the U.S. attorney, Lindsay Halligan. And so this judge dismissed the charges against Comey and Letitia James. Now she says they're going to bring a new indictment against Comey. Someone else came to bring it. She goes, you can't use that evidence that you used to get the indictment before. It's like, what? The judge grants a TRO requested by Comey and her lawyer to prevent them from using evidence of the crime. The evidence of the crime. The judge granted a TRO against using the evidence of the crime. This is ridiculous. This is insane. 4 years is too long. It is. Hey, Joe, Somalians can grape 17 times and still be on the street to do it again. This is nuts, man. This is like nuts. Yeah. Clinton judge blocks prosecutors from accessing key evidence in the criminal case against James Comey. Oh, Pam Graham is here but late. Says he's going to get more hours to talk me to sleep. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The opening. Oh, the opening was great. Yeah, the beginning. Yeah, you go to the beginning. Oh, yeah, got to go back to the beginning. Go back and watch the Thrasher Trump. And yeah, it's a great little 2-minute song of them. They pull up to Waltz's house and say some things. A federal judge on Saturday blocked federal prosecutors from accessing key evidence in the criminal case against James Comey. Earlier this week, Comey's secret media mole, Daniel Richman, sought to block the Justice Department from accessing his files as the Trump administration prepares to hit James Comey with a new indictment. A grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia indicted former FBI Director James Comey in September. He was indicted on 2 counts, false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. The charges are related to Comey's testimony to Senate investigators in September 2020 about whether he authorized leaks to the media. Newly released November 2016 emails reveal that James Comey was guiding his media mole, Daniel Rickman, and authorized leaks to the media. James Comey knew his friend was talking to the media, backing up claims in Lindsay Halligan's case brought against the former FBI director. This contradicts Comey's claim that he is being maliciously prosecuted. The feds seized materials from Rickman several years ago, and he asked the judge to block the DOJ from accessing his files. U.S. District Judge Colleen Kolar-Cotelli, a Clinton appointee, issued a temporary restraining order and blocked the DOJ from accessing Rickman's seized documents. The judge gave 3 reasons for siding with Rickman. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia has not yet entered an appearance to make representations on behalf of the government, and counsel for the government has not yet been identified. So that's how it works. You enter a TRO because you don't have, you have one side. So all I have to do is find a TDS judge and I won't get charged. Good to know. What the actual heck is going on with these judges? I don't know. Something's got to happen, though. The government has not yet indicated who has custody of the material at issue, and neither the petitioner nor the court can determine the identity of the custodian until the government appears in the case. The court finds that the government has received actual notice of petitioner's motion, ensuring that the government is positioned to act promptly to seek an appropriate relief from this order. The TRO remains in effect until December 12th or until dissolved by further order of the court, whichever comes first. The DOJ must respond to Rickman's motion for the TRO by December 9th. Comey's case is dismissed for now. A federal judge last Monday dismissed the criminal cases against Comey and Letitia James. Judge Cameron McGowan Curry, a Clinton appointee, another Clinton appointee, ruled that U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan's appointment violated the Appointments Clause of the Constitution. The judge also said that Attorney General Bonnie's attempt to ratify Halligan's actions were ineffective. The DOJ is preparing to refile charges against Comey. Earlier this week, a grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia declined to indict Letitia James. Yeah, like Pat Hacker says, depends on your complexion. Trump's attorney-client privilege pierced by a judge for an illegal appointment, special prosecutor, but then they could throw out a prosecutor indictment, then the evidence because 7-tier legal system, it's crazy. Yeah, it depends on your party affiliation. It really does. When it's the D for different. New York Post has it as James Comey racks up temporary win in criminal cases. Judge bars feds from using key emails. I mean, so if the feds are investigating you and they're collecting evidence, I guess you could just go and get a restraining order and say, I don't want them to be able to use the evidence they have on me.
What would you like to know today?
Could you start off by telling us the latest with Russia and Ukraine? Are you expecting Zelensky to come visit you?
We're having good, I don't know, he would like to come, but I think we should get a deal done first. We're having good talks. We started with Russia, we're having some talks with Russia. Ukraine is doing well. I think they're pretty happy about it. They'd like to see it end. And we won't know for a little while, but we're making progress.
What are the next
We settled 8 wars, and I thought this would be one of the easier ones because of my relationship with President Putin. But this is probably one of the more difficult ones. There's a lot of hatred.
You said there were other points of disagreement that were still left to be.
Yeah, a few.
Can you tell us what those are?
Well, it's just the standard things when people are starting to realize it's a good deal for both parties and they got to stop the war. They're losing a lot of people, a lot of soldiers, mostly soldiers.
In that 28-point plan that was originally leaked, there were some portions of that that said that Ukraine.
Well, that was an original proposal, and then from there we went back and forth.
So when it comes to ceding land to Russia, is that still on the table or has that changed?
Well, they're talking about going land both ways and trying to clean up a border. You know, you can't go through the middle of a house, you can't go through the middle of a highway. So they're trying to work something. It's a complicated process. Doesn't go that quickly.
What about security guarantees and?
Well, we're working that out with Europe. Europe will be largely involved in that. We're working that out with Europe. Europe really wants to see it end if possible.
There were a lot of Republicans who felt that the first plan, the first 28-point plan, was too favorable to Russia. Have you changed
Well, that was just a map. All that was is a map. That was not a plan. It was a concept. And from there, they've taken each one of the 28 points, and then you get down to 22 points. A lot of them were solved, and actually very favorably solved. So we'll see what happens.
Do you think that Ukraine was being asked to give too much land back to Russia? I know at one point you said they shouldn't have to give any back.
It's really up. Look, the way it's going, if you look, it's just moving in one direction. So eventually, that's land that over the next couple of months might be gotten by Russia anyway. So do you want to fight and lose another 50, 60,000 people? Or do you want to do something now In some cases, the land is going in the other direction. So they're negotiating. They're trying to get it done. You want to have a border. You can't have a border that goes through a highway or a border that goes through the middle of a town. So that doesn't work. So it's a long, complicated process. And very sad because so many people are being killed.
What's the next step?
They're going to keep talking. They're talking.
Yeah, they're going to keep talking. So key evidence about an ally of former FBI Director James Comey was temporarily ruled off limits by a judge. So judges could just rule evidence off limits. Sorry, you can't use that evidence. The government had it because of a warrant. The government had something in their possession. Generally speaking, they don't need permission to use it once they got it legally. Steve says they've been in power for so long and never questioned by either party. Yeah. What's wrong with our legal system? Lawyers, generally speaking, it's lawyers. What's wrong with our legal system? There was, what is that saying? I think, what was it, like Hemingway or Socrates or someone, I don't remember who it was, said, you know, what do you call 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? A good start. I don't know. And then Joe says, thank you, Jim Somniacs. Glad I went back to watch it. AI is awesome, and yes, Waltz is a retard. I think I read something about the evidence not being under the original warrant. No, the evidence was under the original warrant. Not a warrant. A warrant they got, it wasn't like a Comey warrant. It was a previous warrant for something else. But once the government has a warrant for some information, they have the information. They don't need permission to look at it again. They already have it. You know, once the government has it, it's their to do what they want. You know, once they get your stuff, they don't have to give it back. Pam, it's no longer our legal system; it's Democrat legal system. Yeah. Hey, Snarf's here. What's up? December 7th. Yes, I want everybody before it gets too late. Want to have a moment of silence for the, December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. The attack on Pearl Harbor. That is one of the greatest conspiracy theories that I think people don't pay a lot of attention to. That our government knew that Japan was going to attack and let it happen simply to get us into the war, because they know if they would have stopped, intervened, and stopped it from happening, there was no way we were getting into World War II if they would have, not let the attack go forward. And I think there's strong evidence to point that they did know. Certain things just don't add up. And then especially what happened later on the Philippines, where they basically left the planes all lined up for them to bomb. Like a day later, after the attack at Pearl Harbor, they left everything just sitting there waiting for Japan to hit. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. So yeah, December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. The attack on Pearl Harbor, launching the United States into the worst bloodshed and most carnage that's ever occurred in the history of man. Or is it infamy? A day that will live in infamy. I think it's INFAMY. I think it's infamy. Putin wants Europe. He will not make a deal. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, Putin can't get Europe. I mean, put it this way. If either Putin is not really seriously trying to conquer Ukraine, he's just trying to take a piece of it, or this is all he could do with everything he's got, then there's no way he could take on Europe. If this is all, you can't have it both ways. So either this is all Putin can muster is this little bit that they've done, then there's no way they could take on NATO and Europe. It just wouldn't be able to work. Or they really don't want all of Ukraine. They just want this section and they want Ukraine to be neutral. I don't know. I'm not a foreign policy expert, but I've been around long enough to know that, generally speaking, when our government tells us something, don't believe it. They're telling you for a reason. And then, January 6th was worse than Pearl Harbor. Yeah, according to the Dems, yes. It was worse than December 7th, 1941. Yes, worse. Yeah. Pat Hager says, Peggy, you watch too much CNN. I don't know. I watch some CNN. I watch all different stuff. That way I can see what they're saying. They don't always lie, but you got to be able to pick them out. Michael Douglas. Putin doesn't want anything to do with EU degeneracy. According to the Dems, I lost faith any Dem will ever get into trouble. Yeah, we'll get there. I have lived through history. Most were not taught. Depends on the wording of the warrant, Jim. Okay. And the cops visited me today. Oh, Snarf, I hope you're okay. 75 here. 77. Oh. Our country received frame damage on January 6th. Where were you on the worst day in history? Infamy. Yes. Putin is Russian for bedpan. Okay. Machinist mate. In my estimation, Putin has shown great restraint. Gilly says, Putin doesn't want Europe. That's ridiculous. You charmed the cops? Well, that's good. The court concludes that Petitioner Richmond is entitled to a narrow temporary restraining order to preserve the status quo while the government evaluates the motion for return of property and waits full briefing and argument. The status quo is that the government has the documents and they could use them. Oh, I need to watch the Actual Justice Warrior to get the frame damage joke. I watch Actual Justice Warrior. I'm trying to think of his name. The glasses, dark hair. He's always plays the Anna Kasparian clip in the beginning. Give me the money. You give me the money. That guy, I like his stuff. Oh, there's Rickman testifying for the committee. I guess they should charge him with a crime too. Yeah, it says Pat Ecker says I must have missed that one. I must have missed the one you're talking about too. I do watch his stuff. Hard to say with Putin, but there's quite a few war hawks in his cabinet. They also want to control the Arctic, mineral, etc., under the polar caps. What year did December 7th happen? The 70s? No, 1941. And then October 7th happened a couple years ago. That was Israel's Pearl Harbor. Right on the 7th. It's weird. Rickman has alleged that the feds illegally held on to his emails and other data. No, the feds, once the feds have it, they don't illegally hold on to it. Once they get your stuff, they keep your stuff. You think they just throw it away? The court concludes the petitioner is likely to succeed on the merits of his claim that the government has violated his Fourth Amendment rights against the reasonable searches and seizures by retaining a complete copy of all his files on his personal computer and searching that image without a warrant. Gundam Zig says most of Putin's restraint is casualty aversion. He does not have the population to take Europe anyway. In comparison, both Germans and Soviets took just over a year each to clear Ukraine. Pat says all my uncles joined up on 12/8/41. Tammy says don't know where my head is tonight. Well, just keep your head in the game. Always keep your head in the game. Rickman is a law professor and a close confidant of Comey's. During the first Trump administration, Comey had given private memos to Rickman to leak to the press, which is, he lied. So this is like evidence. This is the evidence right here that the guy broke the fucking law, that Comey broke the law. Comey lied that he didn't do this. This is just like disgusting. That this is the crime. He gave the memos, then lied to the Senate about it. That's the crime. That leak helped spark the Mueller investigation. The feds obtained a copy of his computer, Columbia University email accounts, and cloud data in 2017 after Trump fired Comey, which had prompted the FBI director to leak the memos of his conversation with the president. This past September, the DOJ indicted Comey for making false statements to Congress during a September 30th, 2020 Senate Judiciary Committee testimony in which he denied authorizing anyone at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports. Rickman's team argued that the feds improperly relied on his computer and email data, which may have included attorney-client privilege. Well, guess what? If you're participating in a crime, it's the crime fraud exception. There is no attorney-client privilege once you are part of the crime. And he's part of the crime. Given Rickman's history of helping Comey with leaks, prosecutors have eyed him as a critical figure. Last month, a federal judge dismissed the indictment, contending the interim U.S. attorney was improperly appointed to her position and lacked authority needed to secure the indictments. Comey pleaded not guilty to charges against him and alleged he was a target of Trump as a vendetta. In September, Trump made a fiery post demanding U.S. Attorney Pam Bondi step up to scrutiny of Comey and two of the foes. Everybody knows he broke the law. It's in the story. They know this happened. They know it happened. The ruling is effective through at least December 12th. So, the AP just has it as the judge deals setback to Justice Department effort to seek new indictment against Comey. All right. Now this is a very important story that I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. This next story is going to start. I got a couple videos to start it off with, and then we'll get into the story. There was massive solar flares today. I'm not selling wolf tickets. I'm not saying it's going to be the end of the world or anything like that. But they did supposedly ground 6,000 flights because of it. And they're predicting like a level 4 storm. This video we're going to watch, this guy is the space weather guy, Ben Davidson. He predicted a level 3 storm from this. But so we'll watch this little video. We'll watch the next video he has, and then we'll read the news articles about it, what they're saying.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we have just one story. We've kind of been discussing it for a few days, and it's been amazing to watch the discussions flow over just the last 2 days. After saying we were so close to them leaking the facts and that we were one auroral event away from a major global wake-up here 48 hours later, they have given the mega hint with the Airbus jets, and in about 2 more days, we may have that auroral event. Central region in eruptive phase on the north. Doesn't even matter if the big spots on the south stay silent, which they are. The northern group has taken over the entirety of the flaring and eruptive behavior. Last night, it was a low-level M-class event followed by an M8 blast. It was obvious from the initial moments that plasma was moving, CME production signals at every frame, and coronagraphs did not take long to show a full halo coronal mass ejection, a direct blast at the Earth. Probably one of the easier CME impact predictions you're going to get with an isolated acute eruptive event taking that full halo, and NOAA's Enlil spiral was updated overnight. Apparently it was blunts and binary last night in Boulder. CME direct hit expected in 2 days on the 9th. They're forecasting a G3 event, KP7 solar storm conditions. That may not be enough to cause another worldwide auroral stir, which would be what's needed for everyone to start asking why it's happening so often, but it might. And if the sun launches anything else our way, a 1-2 punch has tripled the chances of creating those bigger auroral events. We are in full-scale space weather monitoring mode right now, and to recap, folks, this is the evening video from 2 nights ago, the 100th monkey of the pole shift. They're not going to stop.
All right. I'm not gonna play all this, but if you guys don't know who Ben Davidson is and don't know who Space Weatherman or Suspicious Observers, go check him out. He's good. And then this is about the airplanes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we have just 3 things to discuss. We're going to go over our star and the Earth-facing solar quiet effect in full flex mode. We've got a brief comment on the video from last night, and then we've got the big story.
Oh shit! Sorry. What's the name of the website? Let me do this so you can see. This guy's on YouTube. He also has Space Weather News on YouTube. He's got Observer Ranch, www.observerranch. Go check it out.
Story and air industry problems yesterday. First, we're here with the last 24 hours on our star. Yes, the mega sunspot is still there. No, it is still not flaring. For anyone who has been here a while, and anyone just long enough to recognize how the sun prefers not to fire at the Earth by a statistically significant margin, this might be the single most dramatic example. The lack of flaring of the sunspot is probably a good thing given its size and the fact that most of us probably aren't ready for that 100th monkey we discussed 2 nights ago. Sunspot's still dangerous today. Solar wind is leveled out at amplified conditions. The solar wind speed steadily near 700 kilometers per second, but the stability has Earth's magnetic field able to slowly correct as we have entered the weekend. Geomagnetic stability for now. Last night, we shared an interesting video of what truly appears to be a weak spot in Earth's magnetic field, letting a batch of plasma through to fully glow mode excite the uppermost ionospheric plasma. We now have 3 critical auroral signs to watch for as we head towards the next magnetic pole shift. If you didn't catch last night's video, it is linked below. Watch it now so you are not feeling silly the next time it happens. Top story, folks. Tim Pool was even able to jump on this one, as well as pretty much every major news outlet in the world yesterday. It is a follow-up story to that Airbus problem with solar radiation from a few days ago. That's still a real thing, but now they're saying that one of the incidents that caused them the great concern happened during a low solar storm day, and I checked, I agree. So their only guess is that a random cosmic ray surge from a distant supernova happened to hit the aircraft. Random 1 in a stupidrillion chance. I hereby submit to you that, well, this is what I've been telling you would happen. The weak magnetic field of Earth would be letting in space energy at higher levels. It doesn't take a one-off, major, random, rare event. It's just going to start happening more and more, and they're going to begin to impact these aircraft. I have said it.
Yeah, so you see it says New Jersey-bound JetBlue plane that plunged thousands of feet likely hit by cosmic rays from another galaxy. Do you think really it was another galaxy, or think it was just from our sun? Yeah. It suddenly lost altitude by thousands of feet, injuring 15 passengers. It took place October 3rd or 30th, and now after a month, the space experts have suggested a cosmic ray may have caused the disruption. So that's what's going on. All right. Okay, let's go here. Let me go back. Don't forget your lead umbrellas. Anyone surprised? It might. It's the Earth. We can't change it. I'm going to change my screen name to Corona Hole. What do you mean, Tammy? What do you mean dismissed with prejudice? Not with Comey. It was dismissed without prejudice. Comey and them. So what's the name of the website? I just told you. And then I need to step through my car. It's because of me. This is a normal part of the show. It had been a minute since he played this. I used to play this every night. I used to do his update solar thing every night because I'm fascinated by it. I think everyone should be aware there's changes happening to the Earth, and it's just there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, if you look at cave paintings that were done thousands of years ago by people, you'll see these figures, and they all got this weird figure with these dots. They're plasmoids. So that's what they were seeing, probably, more than likely seeing in the sky. They were seeing these plasmoids because stuff happens. Maybe that's what caused the ice caps to melt and lunged us into the Younger Dryas. Maybe that's the great flood that all the societies talk about, civilizations, and every culture has. I don't know. Just saying. He says it requires building something. Well, they've known about this, and they've talked about this has been known, and they've known about it, and they've talked about hardening the grid, because the bottom line is something. The sun burps at us, with some, a decent size X30, X40 flare. We're not going to have electricity for 6 months. Think about what that means. Think about that. No electricity on Earth for 6 months, because you got to build everything back. You can't just replace everything. You got to replace every bit of all the electrical grids. Every transformer blows up. Power lines light on fire. How many people are going to die? Like half the planet? 3/4 of the planet? A lot. Anybody who requires on insulin or anything like that needs to be refrigerated, they're gone. It's going to be a mess. And they know about it. I mean, think about all the people that are building bunkers. Every one of these billionaires is building bunkers and all these different things. Other ones are building things to get off the planet. What do they know? What do they know? And Phil says spaceweather.com is a good site. It is. It sounds all Greek to you. Well, it sounds Greek to me too, but I try to stay up on it. He has been on Dark Horse a couple of times. I'll stick to Oppenheimer Ranch and Magnetic Reversal News here. I also saw something too where they said they spotted there's a galactic sheet, a galactic current sheet that goes like this through the galaxy, and we're passing through it, and it's going to reverse polarity. Maybe that's what causes all this stuff to happen. They're seeing things changing on other planets, like the storm that's on Jupiter, the huge eye on Jupiter, this giant storm that's larger than the entire Earth. The storm, it changed directions all of a sudden. For all known human history of tracking it, it's been spinning in one direction. It's always been there. Now it just started spinning in the other direction. What could cause something like that to happen? Yeah, the Boring Company. Yeah, he's, yeah. You can also check out Jay Liebgott's channel at www.youtube.wtsf for fun space facts too. Definitely. Elon's best invention. Yeah. Invest now. I need diesel for my fifth wheel. Stop flying so much. No way, no way. Simple. I'm waiting for the Pole Shift movie to come out. Should be any day now. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Maybe we'll do a special. We'll watch it or something. I'll have to send a message to maybe I'll send a message to Ben and see if he's okay with me doing like a watch party. So far, he's never once hit me for playing any of his stuff. Maybe he's just interested in getting the word out. Your husband just retired from JetBlue as an A320 Airbus captain. A chance to become a superhero? I don't know. Or a do. Why only one plane? Whatever it was came through the atmosphere and hit that plane. Something from space. Could have been a plasma. It could have been where it was. They do stop. A lot of times people don't track it a lot, but when there's these storms, they don't fly over the North Pole. All right. They change routes. They go over the North Pole because if you look at the way the Earth is and we got our magnetic field, the stuff comes in at the North Pole. That's why there's always auroras at the north. It's because the stuff gets in there. So, something new to Skurs with super duper sun rays. It's not really new. I'm being invaded again. Your other binky is in the bed, buddy. Yeah, it's in the bed. Go on. Go to bed. It's bedtime. Go to bed. Go to bed, please. People will be there in a little while. Go to bed. No, Bella's going to stay here now. You let her out. I told you not to let her out of the room. Yeah, background noise. Yeah. Big Bang rays. Doesn't the statute of limitations expire after 5 years? Isn't it coming up with Comey? Because it was dismissed the way it was on a technicality, there's actually a statute that automatically extends it by 6 months, the statute of limitations. So on both Comey and Letitia James, if there was a statute of limitations issue, it just automatically got extended by 6 months. A super duper Big Bang rays. You're a learned, Jim. Well, I try to pick up as much as I can. Maybe a ton of things happen that people haven't even imagined yet. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be why maybe they had some technology that helped them build the pyramids and build the Sphinx and do all the stuff and cut those giant stones and place them and do all this stuff that because of whatever happened, that all disappeared and, bad stuff happened. Please. Shut the flashlight off, please. It's bedtime, please. You got to go to bed. Lateral grids, granola, exactly. Yeah. The only thing, the last seems to be stone. Yeah, that's the only thing that was left. No, Jim, no. What?
No, Jim, no.
What am I doing? No what? What did I do? That's no, Jim, no. Things that no evidence for. We can imagine there's no evidence and possibly evidence of himself. 10 miles under. No computers. Yeah, all the computers will be gone. Okay, I think so. All the J6 people who need indictments are fixing to time out. No refrigeration. Yeah, it'll be a problem. The statute expired, but because it was done before it expiring after the filing, the judge dismissed without prejudice. Time to refile. Well, there's a statute. Like I said, there's a specific statute that if someone's indicted and because of a technicality indictment gets tossed out, they get 6 months added. It basically told the indictment. What, you just dropped your binky? Yeah, all first world problems it is. They say 75% of Earth would die within 30 days. My tea? Yeah, you can't have tea. The things guys fixate on audio and sun flares. Yeah, well. Who sells them bunkers? Are the poor people that build bunkers crazy and not the rich people with bunkers? I don't think anybody, if you have a bunker, I don't think it's crazy. All right. No food production or transportation. NORAD latitude. Water is the real issue. Could be. How long have they been able to tell the direction it was spinning? Ever since the first time they got the first telescope, for sure, they saw the spot on Jupiter. So hundreds of years, 400 years, 500 years. You can go over a year without eating, but water's the issue. I don't think you can go over a year without eating. I mean, I thought it was 7 days or something without eating. And then 3 days for water. I'm sure it's a little longer than that, though, technically. Magnetic reversal covered the galactic magnetic sheet. It's a misunderstanding of a paper that was literally just a moment in time model of the current state. Nothing about a galactic polarity flip. There's a lot of ways to preserve food without electricity. Yeah, but how many people remember those ways? That's the thing. You should be looking at, how to can foods, how you salt to preserve things. Poorly worded paper typo. The pole has already started to shift towards Siberia, hasn't it? Yes, the pole is moving, and it's accelerating. They've been changing numbers on runways because of it. It's been affecting... please stop. Please stop. Yeah, stop. It's not in Revelation. I don't think that will happen. 50 years ago, they scared us with the sun would burn out and we'd all freeze to death. They control us with fear, fear not. Well, something happens. They know this. Something happens every so often. The pole has wandered many, many miles. Yes, it's 20, 30 miles, I think, a year now it's moving. Who gave him a flashlight at bedtime? Well, there's a flashlight sitting next to the bed. I live in Florida, so you have to have flashlights by every bed just in case power goes out, stuff like that. You need to have flashlights. So that's, thanks. That gives me a little hope. Well, there's always hope. I mean, people have survived it. Think of it this way. They say this stuff happens every 12,000. It's somewhere between either 6,000. There's either a 6,000 or a 12,000 year cycle, something like that. People, humans, anatomically modern humans have been around for 500,000, 600,000 years. So we've survived these things happening before. So some people will survive. I can't go without eating unless I'm really sick. Inspector Gadget with the flashlight. Yeah. Is that why Windows 11 sucks? The gamma rays? No electricity, no gym. Say it ain't so. I'll stand outside and just yell, and so people can hear me. The Egyptians documented how they built the pyramids, though, except for the alien intervention parts they kept super secret. I don't think they documented shit, to tell you the truth. Grandkid, no. Jim, no. Oh, well. CZM Cats posted this lady, watch this lady when sometimes you have a chance. Supposedly a second grand jury refused to indict James. Yeah, I wonder what happened with that, like who did it and what exactly happened. You're losing me now, Jim. Well, I'm just saying, just be aware, that's all. You're not sure a bunker will do? Well, technically, they say you only need like 6 inches of earth to protect you from the rays. There's other stuff like this gets like really deep and weird as far as like they know that like long time ago people were using some kind of like red pigment dye on their skin to protect them from solar rays. Why? I don't know. So anyway, let's get. I got to move on. Many people have fasted with water only for over a year. Really? Huh. A few days without water, weeks to months without food, depending on how fat you were starting out. From the Earth's magnetic field. Hello, Jim's grandson. Does Santa have to move? Maybe. No, hope for Comey and James. I hope so. Raining here, moonlit sky last night. Okay, Karen. Oh, thanks. Great to be here. 22,000 years. You think that's the cycle? Sahara goes green. Well, the Sahara goes green. I thought that was because of the wobble. Santa ain't moving his headquarters. I'll bet Copernicus saw the great spot first. It's possible. It's a 22,000 year wobble. Well, that's the wobble, but I don't know if that's what caused the Sahara to go, to flip, because they know 12,000 years ago, whatever it was, 15,000 years ago, was when the Sahara was green and had all these rivers and stuff. Not that anyone cares, but the Chiefs will not win their division this year. Most of us are effed either way. Galileo saw them. Their attitude stinks. NASA claims Jupiter's red spot has not changed rotational direction. What are they trying to hide? I don't know. Where does that say? Because the sun flips every 11 years. Well, it goes through cycles. Okay. This woman's been a remote viewer. Oh, she's talking about the sun and bunkers. Very interesting. Oh, a remote viewer. Okay, yeah, that stuff. Yeah, the government spent a lot of money on remote viewers. Lake Erie dropped over 6 feet in a day recently. That's crazy. Okay. All right, so let's get into this now. Read the story. So, where to see northern lights as geomagnetic storm hits Earth? What's that? December 7th. Oh, that's today. A significant geomagnetic storm triggered by a full halo coronal mass ejection from the sun is set to impact Earth early midday on Tuesday, potentially making the northern lights visible across large portions of North America. It's a recent theory that doesn't seem unreasonable. There is clear evidence that it was once green. Well, yeah, no, they have. They see the rivers and stuff, and it's like I don't know, the riverbeds and stuff. They've tracked them. No way to know that. The CMA would be here in 9 minutes. No, that stuff the sun's very far away, and even the light from the sun takes like minutes to get here, or maybe a couple hours. But like the plasma and stuff, it actually has mass, so it's not moving at the speed of light. It's moving fast, but not at the speed of light. Northern lights this time of year are totally normal in Canada, at least Western Canada. Yeah, when we're talking about, we saw stuff here in Florida in May. Red ochre is a super sunscreen that helps against cosmic rays, underground care living, and going nocturnal. Yeah, red ochre, that's it. Yeah, that's the stuff that they know they have evidence that was being used 10,000 years ago or whatever. So that's weird. Just saying. 13,000 years ago, the beach was 100 miles off the coast of Manhattan. Lake Erie's ice dam broke loose and caused a great flood in New York. Okay. Why do men fixate on things they can't prevent or fix? Well, not that we can prepare. It's like, Boy Scouts always be prepared. So you gotta try to be prepared. I think NASA lies about everything. We do know that they manipulate pictures and stuff. So mud is still used in some places as a sunblocker. So what to know? The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, Prediction Center announced that following the M8.1 class solar flare, periods of G3 magnetic storm are likely to occur. The expected strong geomagnetic storm comes amid a heightened solar activity at the peak of the sun's 11-year cycle. Beyond the spectacle, the storm may disrupt technology, including communication networks, power grids, GPS satellites, highlighting vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure to extreme space weather events. Based on NOAA's predictions and the Ovation Aurora model, residents in Alaska and northernmost sections of Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire may have the best chances to witness the auroras on Tuesday nights. Sightings are most likely in dark rural areas far from city lights and are best viewed facing the northern horizon after sunset and before sunrise. To observe the aurora, NOAA and space weather experts recommend seeking a north-facing vantage point away from artificial lighting, letting eyes adjust to the dark, and monitoring forecast updates for real-time adjustments. I would recommend highly, if you want to check it out, if you have an iPhone or an Android, like a newer phone, like within the last year or two, go outside with your camera and take a video, and then your camera will pick up lights that you can't see. So you'll be able to pick things up on your phone that you can't see with your eyes. Think that grand cycle civilization collapses occur because our ancestors kept giving women the right to vote and a credit card. Oh, that would suck. NASA goes to the moon, takes 4 pictures. Woman goes to the bathroom, takes 12 pictures.
Hey, listen, you can't get on his eyes.
Okay, listen, you got to go to bed.
He doesn't go on his eyes.
What?
He doesn't go on his eyes.
No, you got to go to bed, please. YouTube doesn't understand it. Is all my guy friends that played football would always say it was because the girls would take their minds off of football. Kelsey's been going downhill since dating. So you guys are talking football. Conditions up to a G3 when and if the strong storm hits. Hey, what's up, Eastwood Farm? Great to see you. Are you familiar with 3i Atlas? Yeah, it's some kind of interstellar something that could be a probe. It could be a comet. It could be any number of things. Yeah. This guy says go to bed. It's time to go to bed. You got to go to bed. Rest of town says go to bed. Phone cameras can enhance faint aurora colors that might not be immediately visible to the naked eye. If I would have kept reading, I wouldn't have had to tell you that. Skies must be clear as cloud cover with diminished visibility. Local weather should be checked before heading out. So M18 flare associated for coronal ejection. The same geometric storm that makes aurora sightings likely can disrupt power systems, navigation signals, and satellite functions due to heightened currents in the Earth's upper atmosphere and magnetic field changes. Kind of seems like the entire universe is powered by magnetism and electricity, just saying. The Geminid meteor shower peaking on December 13th and 14th overlaps with the ongoing period of increasing solar activity. Skywatchers may enjoy dual spectacles of meteors and auroras in minimally lit areas. Huh?
Hey.
What?
Come on.
No, you have to go to bed. Please. Go watch Blippi. I'll be there in a little bit.
I don't want that one. I don't want that one.
You don't want that one? We'll change it.
No, I can't.
Yeah. Geomagnetic storms can create large disturbances in the atmosphere.
Hey, I can't. Hey.
What?
I can't.
All right. I'll be right there. There's a story hidden in bed. One must lay there and sleep to see it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking to millions of people. I'm just talking to you guys. I sent you the Northern Light photos I took. I sent them on Facebook. Awesome. All right. All right. Let me put something on for you guys to watch. I got to get him into bed and get something started here. Come on. No, stop it. Get out from under there now. You're going to unplug the computer. Come on. Get out of there. Hold on, people. Let me put something on.
My name is Hibbity Jibbity, and this is my hollow moon theory video. Alright, now what we are gonna do in this video is talk about how the moon is actually a hollow artificial space station that was brought into orbit around the Earth by the Anunnaki many thousands of years ago. And also we are going to go over some pretty interesting biblical references to the Anunnaki, as well as some information about some of these other beings such as the Nephilim and the demigods and things like that. So get ready for some crazy stuff because we're about to dive right into it. Let's get it, guys. Alright, so let's start off by talking about the moon. So check this out. This is a photo of the moon. However, there is no light source here. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. The moon is reflecting our sunlight, but where is the sunlight? Why is there not a single ray of light hitting the moon here at all? What gives with this photo? Here's another one. Why does the moon look different every single time that you see it? If it's just a big ball of cheese up in the sky, why does it change shape? Well, because it's not a solid object. It's not a ball of cheese or a ball of rock. The moon is a hollow artificial space station. Now, NASA will tell you that the moon is made up of rock and they'll show you images like this, which appear to be photos of moon rocks. But I'm telling you, those are fake. Why? Because there's no such thing as space rocks. There is nothing in space that has ever been discovered that proves that there are rocks floating around in space. Now, you might say, well, what about meteorites? Well, meteorites come from within our own solar system. They're asteroids that have been kicked into orbit around the sun. They don't fall off of the moon. Okay, so now let's talk about how the moon got here. So the moon is definitely not a space station. That much is obvious. But how did it get here? Well, what we know is that the Anunnaki came to Earth about 300,000 years ago, maybe even more than that. They came to Earth looking for gold. Their home planet Nibiru was dying, and so they needed gold to save their planet. Okay? So they came down to Earth and they mined a lot of the gold that can still be found here today in places like South Africa and other places around the world. But in order to mine the gold, they needed slaves. So they took some of the hominids that were walking around here at the time, okay, probably ape men, humanoid-type creatures, and they enslaved them to do the mining. These hominids didn't really like being enslaved, so they rebelled against the Anunnaki. They wanted freedom. So once they realized that they could not control these slaves anymore, the Anunnaki set out to create a new race of beings, a race that would serve them. And that's when they created the human race. So when they created the human race, they went ahead and placed us on the Earth and they used us as slaves to do all the mining. So that's how the moon got here. The Anunnaki used their advanced technology to bring the moon here. In fact, they had spaceships. They had vehicles that were powered by what they called the winged disk, which is an energy source that has yet to be discovered. But we do know that it wasn't powered by fossil fuels, that's for sure. Now, let's talk about some of the Anunnaki themselves. Now, obviously, if you've done any research on the Anunnaki, you already know this, but I'm gonna go over it anyways. The leader of the Anunnaki was named Anu. He was the king of the Anunnaki, and he ruled over the Anunnaki that came to Earth. He was actually the god of the heavens, and he was considered...
Good time to grab a snack and be right back. Yeah. Dinosaur books. Grandkids hit the power button in 3, 2, 1. No, yeah, what the fuck? Well, this is just some channel I found that's insane, and I think it's funny, so I thought you guys would get a laugh out of it. Hibbity jibbity, Gavea would be proud. Worst video ever. Terrible AI. Oops, we joined a cult. Well, oh my God, you're bailing. Okay. Whatever. Body parts, not rocks. Okay. The moon is made of cheese, maybe. He needs to go slower. I'm taking notes. Okay. It's always gold. Yeah. Nibiru is Jupiter. Okay. This is Lara Eisenhower level stuff. Intermission time. Let's go get snack bar. Wow. This is the movie Stargate. It could be. I don't know. Was this written by the Associated Press? Ugh. We deserve free Bella for this. Just ask Hancock. He will back this guy up 100%. Oh, Graham Hancock? Maybe. Maybe he would. Stargate was awesome. It's funny. Art Bell was the best for night car rides back before YouTube. Yeah, Art Bell was awesome. thought your bra was on too tight? I don't know. You guys want to finish watching this, or you want me to get back to the news story? Probably get back to the news story, right? Richard Parker says all elements in the universe are the same percentage that are found on Earth. The only thing found on Earth that isn't found in the universe is what? People? Us? Maybe? I don't know. Link to this video? Okay, I'll put the link to the video in. Spud says, actually, this video makes a lot of sense. Better than The Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. Well, it is what it is. So let's get back to the story. I got a bunch of news I want to get to today. So, no, not this one. Where are we at here? So we're gonna breeze through this real quick. Solar storms hit Earth. Why are they where the northern lights can be seen? So we're kind of just like MJ standing behind him. What? MJ standing behind him. News Nation just has this geomagnetic storm watch issued after solar flare. All right. And then I don't know if you guys saw, but the U.S. President Trump has issued his national security strategy for the United States for 2025. Next grandson break. Can we play G. Gordon Liddy? Sure. You know where there's a video of that? Is that on YouTube? You're talking about G. Gordon Liddy, like what, interviews or something? Or so wait, it's not cheese and no guy up there with a fishing pole, no jumping cows, blasphemy. The whole enchilada. So I put the link to that video if anyone wants to go watch it. So this is my fellow Americans. Over the past 9 months, we have brought our nation and the world back from the brink of catastrophe and disaster. After 4 years of weakness and extremism and deadly failures, my administration has moved with urgency and historic speed to restore American strength at home and abroad and bring peace and stability to the rest of our world. Oh, cool. I don't know. Do you want Brian Oldenkamp? Did you want me to share those pictures you sent me? It's the chlorophyll, the shit in plants that allows them to harvest the sun's energy. If aliens show up, they want our trees. Okay. All right. So, starting on our first day in office, we restored the sovereign borders of the United States and deployed the military to stop the invasion. Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity. What follows is a strategy to describe and build upon the extraordinary strides we've made. Donald Trump. So, what is America's strategy? How America's strategy went astray? What we're going to do? And I don't know. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's. KPT says PayPal to try to get this moving. Okay. I don't know. I didn't get a notification. I don't see anything. I don't see anything on PayPal. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, there it goes. All right, thank you for the $8. Texas beat the Chiefs. Okay, thank you for the $8, KPT. With that $8, that now puts us at $80 for the first additional hour, and $80 for the first additional hour, and $30 away from Bellavision. Thank you. We're coming up on 2 hours on the show. Solar Flare slowed it down. It was so small it was hard to find. You're hoping to get a client's invoice finished so I can get paid. Well, okay. You can share if you want. I was just sharing to you. I see Northern Lights here in Northern Iowa. You see a lot of them in Northern Iowa? Really? Okay. We'll do this. So this is the pictures that Brian sent of the lights. This is amazing. Look at this stuff. It's like amazing. It's like amazing. Isn't it? I mean, that's crazy. That's Iowa. They showed up in Carolinas last month too. It's nuts, right? Here's another one. I mean, I thought the red on top was a bad thing. I'm not sure. I thought someone said that. With the camera, how much do you see with your eyes? I don't know. I mean, like, I could barely see stuff. I was in Illinois. There was some solar flares. I was like, just south of Chicago, and you could barely see stuff. But then you pull out your phone and you look with your phone, and it was like brilliant. He's like 30 minutes south of the Minnesota border in Iowa. Looks like Christmas lights. Yeah. These I can see with my eyes, but not near that vibrant. Okay. Red at night, sailor's delight. Red sky night, sailor's delight. Red sky morning, sailor take warning. Oh, this one's look at that. You can almost see a plasmoid there. Like when you start seeing plasmoids, like the figures and stuff with the circles and dots and stuff, then you know there's an issue that you got to watch out. Gotta watch out. So thanks for sharing those, Brian. Okay, let's read the story for this about, because it's not so much. I don't want to read that whole thing. So President Trump's national strategy is outlined in a detailed 33-page report. In addition to setting priorities for America's state's focus, the report details Trump administration's perspective on the world is broken down in specific regions. They'll be realistic about the possible desire to seek dealing with other nations. The world's fundamental political unit is and will remain to be the nation state. The United States will put its own interests first in our relations with other nations and encourage them to prioritize their own interests as well. Govsy, some plasmids. One night, watch a full 360 of Northern Lights, horizon all direction, 5 miles south of Kanatanstan in Minnesota. Sunshine says, that's amazing. You can only see slight red hues here in Texas. Then you know the dealer sold you the good stuff. And it's a brutally honest review of the situation. Trump administration notes that Europe is increasingly losing its own identity. The fear the Europeans express about being vulnerable to Russia's strength is hypocritical in the sense that in practical outcomes, the EU is purposefully weakening itself and simultaneously demanding assistance against their own weakness. Yeah, that's expected, putting self first, definitely. American officials have become used to thinking about European problems in terms of insufficient military spending and economic stagnation. The truth is that there's truth to this, but Europe's real problems are even deeper. Continental Europe has been losing its share of global GDP, down from 25% in 1990 to 14% today, partly owing to national and transnational regulations that undermine creativity and industriousness. But this economic decline is eclipsed by the real and more stark prospect of civilizational erasure. The larger issue facing Europe includes activities of the European Union and other transnational bodies that undermine political liberty and sovereignty, migration policies that are transforming the continent and creating strife, censorship of free speech and suppression of political opposition, cratering birth rates and the loss of national identities and self-confidence. Should present trends continue, the continent will be unrecognizable in 20 years or less. As such, it's far from obvious whether certain European countries will have economies and military strong enough to remain reliable allies. Many of these nations are currently doubling down on their present path. We want Europe to remain European, to regain its civilizational self-confidence, and abandon its failed focus on regulatory suffocation. We should cover something important like Mike Ben's video released today showing seditious What? Yeah. I didn't see the video. I know who Mike Benz is. I like his stuff. Yeah, that boy does not want to sleep. We need a bell sighting.
Hey, people.
What?
Cars.
Yeah, those are cars up there. Yeah. Would you please go to bed? Please.
Those are Dada's.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you please go to bed? Please. Please go to bed.
I don't want to.
Come on, you're gonna knock over my light. Anyway, so ghetto rant alert. Okay. A $10 ghetto rant. The Northern Lights can explain the genesis of the Rainbow Bridge to Asgard in Nordic lore, especially when they were so intense. You know what? You're right. That could be the case. It's possible. That's where it came from. Thank you for $10. And with that, that brings our goal down to $70 for the first additional hour and $20 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Bookstore. Thanks, Jim. You're welcome. Super nanny time. Yeah, I'm a sweet baby. Yeah. See, Richard Parker posted something. Let's see what that is. Is this the clip? Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. So Richard Parker posted a video. Well, that's like 57 minutes long. I can't watch the whole 57 minutes. And then Ryan Olenkamp comes in with 5. Jim tells you memberships. Hey, Brian, let's see who got them. That's Dopamine Octopus, Robin Hood US, Swan Song 70, Jeff O'Malley, and ID Crisis Design received gifted memberships from Brian Oldenkamp. Thank you, Brian. And with that, that's their television there. And then Kelly comes in with a 5. So hide this. So that's 35. So that means we are $35 away from the first additional hour. James, please, you got to go to bed, please. Thank you so much. The first 10 minutes and last 10 minutes. Thank you, Brian. Brian Oldencat gives us Bellavision. Yay, Brian Lal. Where is Bella? All I see is a grandkid. Yeah. Ben goes down the trail of steel. Podesta military plan to overthrow Trump. Interesting. Brian Kilmeade on Fox had a scary segment on the show today about China stealing U.S. secrets. In too deep. H.R. Biggs. Hey, nice to see you, H.R. Biggs. She's the sweetest, most patient dog. Let me flip the camera. What are you doing, buddy? Please, it's bedtime. Come on, please. Go lay over here in the bed, then, please. Go lay down in this bed right here. Go lay in the bed right there. Oh, and then Richard Parker with another one. Is this a? Thank you, Brian. I'm sorry, Richard Parker. I'm sorry. Damn it, I'm getting confused. So we're now $30 away from the first additional hour. Benny Johnson talks about all the people in Ukraine getting arrested for stealing money. Yeah. What is that, Brian? Is that Richard? Why do I keep calling you Brian? Is that the same video? It's the same video. All right. Fine. We'll pull it. I'll pull this over here. We'll look at it. Let me get back to this real quick. So they're saying basically European allies enjoy a significant hard power advantage over Russia by almost every measure, save nuclear weapons. And so basically Trump put the statement out saying Europe has to start doing more, and they've got to start protecting. They have to start protecting themselves, and otherwise they're gonna be done for. Please stop it. What are the odds the Northern Lights are from crap spraying the atmosphere? Don't throw that. Don't throw that. All right, please. Don't throw that. Stop. 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 No, don't touch it. Come on, you keep moving the lights. Please, either go sit in the bed or go in bed and lay down and watch Blippi.
I don't want that one.
That didn't sound good. No, it didn't sound good.
Hey.
Trump is right. It's not Europe anymore.
I don't want that.
Don't want what?
That Blippi.
Okay. All right.
Everything.
All right. All right. We'll watch some of this, I guess.
Cole purchased a total of 6 galvanized pipes of this size on June 1, June 8. Oh, fuck.
Hey, come.
Okay.
June 1, June 8, and November 16. Hold on, please. I'm going to hit you guys with the music while I pull up some receipts for you.
All right, no, I don't want music.
Into your Truman Show, where you've got 3 or 4 of his new best friends all telling him, build the pipe bomb, build the pipe bomb. When do I think contingency plans, and this is admittedly speculation, I don't know this to be the case. I don't put the world's strongest confidence interval in it. But if I was a federal investigator at the FBI, I would use this as an investigative lens to sweep things up. And I would broaden my investigation to this so that it at least sweeps this up. Because there are many permutations of this that don't rely on this exact structure, but if you proceed accordingly, I think you'll get approximately there. And that's this. it gets back to their one chance for winning the election in 2020, which is what they called the Red Mirage Blue Shift event. Red Mirage Blue Shift. This is CNN, for example, September 1, 2020, month and a half before the Whitmer Fednapping hoax story, 2 months before the election, 4 months before January 6th. Deciphering the Red Mirage and Blue Shift, uncertainty surrounding the election results. This was what CISA and the censorship operation to censor the 2020 election was all about. It was to pre-censor anything that might question or, quote, delegitimize an upcoming miraculous come-from-behind victory the day after or in the days after, where it would be a red mirage, Trump would win on election night, but then it would shift blue and Biden would win. They knew that was Biden's only path to victory and that it would look fucked to all hell. So they had to pre-censor 5 months before that happened, starting in June 2020. Any criticism on social media. That's why you got banned for questioning mass mail-in ballots. Because high-ranking government officials at the fucking Department of Homeland Security teamed up with their outside blob mob, who are all career specialists in toppling governments, know that the crux of it is perceptions of legitimacy. That's what tips judges, juries, Supreme Court decisions, riots or protests in the streets, resistance movements. So they had to pre-censor that. At the same time, they had to deal with the fact that in the event of a red mirage blue shift and a substantial portion of the country still thought Trump was the legitimate president, and Trump still had 100 fucking million Twitter followers and was on Twitter every day, they thought Trump would be a shadow president. That he would, foreign leaders would look at him as the real head of.
All right, what's going on? Sorry about that. Where we at here? Microsoft has something blacklisted. Robots. Anthony's here with 5 memberships. Oh, what do you know? Thank you, Anthony, for the 5 memberships. Let's see who got them. What is happening? Why am I having? Great cloudy day. Audra was I'm putting Grants in the bed. Kelly received a gift of membership. Great cloudy day. Diane W5Q. Elijah McRisk. And Karen O received a gift of membership, all from Anthony. So thank Anthony very much. And with that,
Practical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
with that, folks, we hit our goal for the first additional hour. So we are now $100 away from a second additional hour. Thank you so much, Anthony, and everybody. I did speed it up a little bit because he was talking real slow. Was it too fast? Yeah, a little faster, Jim. Okay. All right. Bella's running everything. She is. This is a form of torture. I'm going to say I've been practicing since the early 90s. Practicing what? Law? I like the faster so I don't forget what we were talking about. 0.5 speed for this guy. What are you talking about, man? Oh, no, what? Holidays are tough for me. For more information, look up A Soldier's Silent Night. Velcro sheets and PJs might help keep that baby in bed. Yeah, right? What's up, X-Wire Cutter? Great to see you. Good day, all. Great to see you. Thanks so much for the green, Anthony. Do the Rockwilder. Sock of seeing dogs a whole. Oh, okay. I get it now. All right. I'll fix it. Speed shift is another aspect of YouTube. Thank you. I not like the holidays either. I hear you many holidays. I spent away from the family. Thanksgiving at NTC, Fort Irwin. Some genius lieutenant colonel thought that it was a good idea. Where does that spiel come from when you add an additional hour? That's from Fallout, the Fallout series. Those are that's Liberty Prime from the Fallout series video game. So
of state and would seek diplomacy with him. And half the country would see him as the president. It wouldn't obey federal orders. It could cause a constitutional crisis. So they didn't just have to beat Trump. They had to stop Trumpism after Trump, even if they won in the red mirage blue shift. And they needed to engage in color revolution preparations in case Trump won. And so one of the highest ranking military officials of the Obama administration, Rosa Brooks, author of How War Became Everything, how everything became war and the military became everything, now at Georgetown Law, she was the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, counselor to Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. I read her book, chapter 1. She talks about her CIA blue badge for this. Now, she headed...
3 ways to get rid of... Hold on.
Get around the paywall. Trump had only been in... Actually, very deep. You go to archive.is. Get around the paywall for a second. Rosa Brooks wrote, even though the article is called 3 Ways to Get Rid of Trump Before 2020, as a high-ranking military official. Actually, very deep down, she says, actually, there's a 4th way. I didn't want to put it in the title of the piece because it's kind of insurrectionary. The 4th possibility is one that until recently, I would have said was unthinkable in the United States of America. A military coup. So a high-ranking Undersecretary of Defense for Diplomacy, for Policy, a high-ranking Obama military official says actually there's 10 days into Trump's first term in office, less than 2 weeks in office. A high-ranking military official from the Obama administration says 3 ways to get rid of Trump before the next election. Impeach him, indict him, get him to step down, congressional, blah, blah, blah. She right.
It sounds like, Richard Parker, it sounds like the 4th possibility is exactly what they're doing right now, what Kelly's doing and those seditious 6 are doing. Trying to get the military to not follow orders. That's exactly what it says. Huh. He brought the receipts for this. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It's actually, there's a 4th way. I wouldn't have considered this before. We have to be kind of hush-hush about this. The 4th way is a military coup. We can military coup Trump out of office.
What they're doing right now.
So this person who openly wrote in mainstream press that we should consider a military coup, a coup to depose the democratically elected president just 10 days into his presidency, she would go on to spearhead one of the craziest scandals in American history that I think probably only me and at this point, like my subscribers have really gotten drilled into their head. Now, the Transition Integrity Project was said to be a war game exercise over several days in June 2020. Remember that because Cole bought these pipe bomb parts over 2 phases. June 1, June 8, so early June 2020, exactly when the Transition Integrity Project held their war games. I believe it was June 5th and 6th or something. And then again in November 2020. Now, before I read you this document, I want you to understand that the highest levels of American political power did this war game run by Rosa Brooks, the Pentagon senior official who openly called for organizing a military coup. Who was a part of this that I'm about to read you? Michael Steele, the former head of the RNC, the former head of the Republican Party. John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, the White House chief of staff, and the guy who would be promoted to running a $375 billion slush fund to hand out $375 billion in taxpayer money to DNC friends and cronies. The former governor of Michigan. before Whitmer. Donna Brazil, the former head of the DNC. So these are the never Trump, and also Bill Kristol, the IRI, never Trump, CIA Republican, ghost of George Bush, never Trump Republican side, as well as Max Boot there. And so what you have is the heads of both political parties, as well as governors, the most vicious political operatives. You had military and intelligence people. I think there were 70 some high ranking military, intelligence, diplomatic, and political operatives on both sides of the aisle. On the Republican side, they were all the never Trumpers who wanted Biden to win. Now, what they produced, and this is a public document. This is just, you can look this up. This is Judicial Watch. Is another copy. This is all written about in mainstream press, who either did not take a critical eye to what it said or, shall I say, whitewashed it to try to stop the scandal and hoped you wouldn't read the passages I'm about to. Nominally, it says they convened. Now, this report they issued the report in August, but they held it in early June, as soon as the George Floyd riots kicked off in late May, June 2020. As Black Lives Matter protests were shutting down the country, these assholes and arch apex predators of the blob world got together and thought, how can we use the street mobs of Black Lives Matter to potentially color revolution Trump out of taking office if he wins the election? Now, they try to say it's preventing a disrupted election in case Trump tries to stay in power. We need a color revolution capacity to get Trump out of office in case he clings to power. That's what that's how the press reported this. But I want you to look at two things. First, the appendix gives it away. The appendix is called Will Trumpism Survive a Trump Loss? And what they say is, okay, let's just say Trump loses the election in this red mirage, blue shift event that people are going to think is fishy. Many observers, just independent observers, right, expect Trump to try to extend his norm-disrupting influence after he leaves office through an independent media company or partnerships. The participants in this war game we're about to read, which I'll just jump to a quick spoiler, included how to stop Trump from taking office, even if he clearly wins the Electoral College 52-47, by mobilizing Black Lives Matter street protests, actions in the streets, mobilizing racial justice activists so that Biden could mobilize them in the event of a clear Trump win to color revolution him out of office, street protest him out of office, force him to step down. And they went through all the steps. They'd have blue states secede. They do an alternate electors plot, the same thing that they openly planned to do if Trump won the election. They then arrested Rudy Giuliani and 19 people on an alternate electors plot that they themselves openly plotted to do, that they would be doing if Trump won. And they just assumed that Black Lives Matter would mobilize in the event of a Biden call to take to the streets.
Does anyone want to, why would they think that they could get Black Lives Matter to mobilize like that? Was it because that there are powers like Ben Crump, people like that, who also is connected to the Brian Cole guy who did the pipe bombing thing? Is they're all connected, interconnected? Is that why? And it's weird how those protests just evaporated under Biden, right? But then as soon as Trump got reelected again, the protests all came back. We cite Kilo. I don't know. Thanks for the membership. Haha. I don't know what that means. We always like new members. Because them melanated folks do what they're told. Something happens, he talks about it. Oh, okay. He's going to talk about it, how it's connected. All right. I kind of feel bad, though, but like watching this stuff. I started watching this channel when I was trying to fall asleep. Well, that's what I'm here for, a soothing voice. That's what I'm here for. The soothing, dulcet tones of Jim Tells You puts more people to sleep than, than Benadryl or something. It's an anti-deportation Gaza protest they're using. Yeah, they just switched it up. Trump cut off the money through USAID. Yeah. Yeah, my grandson. Well, no, I could put him to sleep if I went and, sang him a lullaby and sat with him and stuff. But he was asleep and he woke up. And the great political takes. Cheers, bro. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Cyclone B. Oh man, come on. They never counted on the youth vote. Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, and all the people of color actually paying attention, not voting blue. No, what it was all the mail-in ballots that disappeared. 10 million or 15 million votes just went and vanished because they didn't exist. We know that they were shipping ballots like crazy. Houses were getting dozens of ballots to their houses. We know that in Michigan and some of these places, some precincts and some areas had 125, 130% turnout. That's not possible. That's fraud. No, I would never. I put more people to sleep than NyQuil. Yeah. Candace covered the BLM connection to the Dem Party a long time ago. You forgot about the mail-in ballots. Oh yeah, they didn't. We're in a fight to keep our republic. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Biden call to take to the streets, but they said, well, we'll need to do more testing. We just assumed they would in this war game. We should robustly test their likely receptivity, these racial justice, the Black Lives of the George Floyd riots, so they can be mobilized at election time in case Trump clearly wins the election. And so what they called to do is for the Democrat Party, the scale of recent demonstrations has increased the stakes for the Democratic Party to build strong ties with Black Lives Matter and be responsive to the movement's demands. Give Black Lives Matter what they want. Give them $50 billion in Chamber of Commerce money. If you remember, Chamber of Commerce signed the secret deal with the AFL-CIO. That was the crux of the Molly Ball Time magazine article, to have the protesters stand down when it was announced Biden won. So between June 2020 and November 2020, the Democrat Party openly planned the highest levels, head of the party, high-ranking Democrat military officials, to do favors for Black Lives Matter so that Black Lives Matter would owe them favors and be responsive to a Biden call to take to the streets to street protest Trump out of office if he won 52-47 in a landslide electoral college victory. They had way more on this. We'll get to that. But coming back to this point, so with the highest levels of power in the White House, John Podesta, in the military, Rosa Brooks, at the political party level, Donna Brazile, and
That's a very good question, KPT. How is this not a federal crime? I would think it's got to be some kind of federal conspiracy to defraud the United States. It's got to be. This should be part of the grand conspiracy, I would think. Something. KPT, it is. This explains that red Nazi speech Biden gave. Oh, yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? He was trying to rile people up.
and Michael Steele, former heads of both political parties. And mind you, where were the bombs? Where did the January 6th pipe bomber drop the bombs? At the RNC headquarters, which is run by Michael Steele, who participated in this open coup plot to overturn the election if Trump won the Electoral College. And the DNC headquarters run by Donna Brazile, who also participated in this open coup plot. Remember that. So what they say, again, we're in the annex, because whatever you want to think about what we're about to read in this clear Trump wins section, which is fucking insane, they give the game away about the whole purpose of this election coup simulation in Appendix C. What they say is even if Trump loses, will Trumpism survive a Trump loss? How can we make sure to get rid of Trump? Even if Trump loses, how do we defeat Trumpism permanently? The problem is Trumpism might survive even if Trump loses. So we need to take out the whole movement. We need a way to do that. And they say the problem is because if Trump loses and steps down, he'll still have this huge media presence. Trump.
Wow. I'd say it is much worse than Watergate. This is the plans they developed in 2020, but they have adjusted to use today. The last 10 minutes ties it all together. It's seditious conspiracy. Marjorie says that her daughter's a registered Democrat. She got 12 ballots in the mail. She's a registered independent and didn't get any. So there's it. They were basically sending out ballots to anybody, and then they tried to take them out twice. Yes. They get away with lying about everything and still shame people for not trusting the system. Mother Karma always wins. It's on Blondie's desk. Add in the assassination threats. I love you people. That's why I share my knowledge. We appreciate it. So you're saying jump to the last 10 minutes or keep watching it?
With this 80 million follower Twitter account, will attack Biden early and consistently, blaming all the problems in the country on a combination of the stolen election and the incompetence of the Biden administration. They knew Biden would be incompetent. They knew he'd fuck it up in exactly the way that he did. And he knew that he'd give them billions of dollars in their NGO money and all this bullshit. And so Trump will relentlessly hammer as the loser of the election. If only the election hadn't been stolen from me, everything in the country would be great again. Such a message could lead to electing far-right candidates to Congress, providing an anchor for ex-President Trump's proposals. Oh no, the democratic process. People might vote for Trump-like candidates. Trumpism may get even stronger if Trump loses and we don't do something big to be able to prosecute and get rid of all Trump supporters. Don't believe me that that's where they're going? Well, watch this. How should an anti-authoritarian interest, this is all blobcraft, right? Everything's democracy versus autocracy. When all you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. All CIA activity has to be pro-democracy against autocracy. So the participants in the open coup plot to overturn the election, if in the case of a clear Trump win, urge Democrats to embrace a new playbook. They said Democrats should not rely on litigation, moral suasion, or merely hoping that Republicans in Congress will come to their senses. Instead, they should publicly support the George Floyd riots. But wait, there's more. There was near universal agreement among, wow, what do you know? Universal agreement among 70 military intelligence and high-level political operatives, all anti-Trump, that all these anti-Trump coup plotters had universal agreement that in the event of a Trump loss, the GOP strategy will be to create trouble for the incoming Biden administration, to retake ground in 2022 and retake the White House in 2024.
Whoa. So kind of exactly what they've done to Trump, where they, since the day he got in office, Norm Eisen and the rest of them are filing lawsuits against Trump. So everything they said that they accused Trump of doing, and they had to do all this stuff to him, they're doing that to Trump right now. All these lawsuits, the fucking judges constantly stopping everything. This is, yeah, wow, it's right. They really want the global communist agenda, but then they'd be fighting the Islamist extremists. Who would have thunk it, right? The speech cadence isn't my favorite. Yeah, he starts and stops. Like, we have it all, said Trump, and much more. Tyrants' actions obviously put rope around their own necks. Did he say that? Exactly. This is exactly what they're doing. Can you post a link to this, please? I missed who this is. Yeah, okay. The link was in the chat. There was a super chat of it, but I will put it in the link in the chat right now and all the chats for who wants it. This is Mike Benz. Whatever. Richard just posted it too. He's great. I like his stuff. He's the guy who exposed a lot of the stuff with the USAID stuff. Like the fact that Trump doesn't have this guy in his cabinet, I don't get it. He should be there working him. They need to get him, Stephen Miller, and Mike. What the hell? No, Mike Davis together, and get them rolling on this stuff.
Spoiler alert, bitches, that happened. GOP activists, possibly encouraged by Trump himself and by far-right media, may seek to do the same thing we're doing as we speak right now in Minneapolis. If the GOP holds the Senate, even more dramatic blocking actions. Now here's the money shot. This is again from the highest echelons of power in Washington, D.C., unanimously agreeing that after running this war game exercise on how to successfully stop Trump from getting inaugurated, if he wins a clear election victory in the Electoral College, here are the recommendations in June 2020, exactly when Brian Cole was buying the pipe bomb parts that he would later allegedly deposit at the DNC and RNC headquarters, while you have the former DNC and RNC leaders making these recommendations. One question is whether to continue the tradition of offering legal immunity to Trump and his family. They wanted to find a way to arrest Donald Trump, to take out Trumpism after Trump, to go after Trump and his family, knowingly, consciously. And there needs to be a robust, intentional, and specific strategy to challenge the white supremacist and extremist networks that enabled Trump's rise to power.
Hi, Shorty.
This base will not automatically demobilize if and when Trump leaves office, and it is inimical to our democracy. So 5 months before the election, the highest levels of military, intelligence, and political power in the United States of America all got together, did a secret war game to find a way to use riots, nationwide riots, and do favors to the Black Lives Matter movement so that they would owe them favors back to take to the streets against Trump if Trump won the election fair and square, but that they also needed a reason to throw Trump and his family in jail. And they needed a robust, intentional, and specific strategy to go after the networks that enabled Trump's rise to power, because they will not automatically demobilize when Trump leaves office. And they can't be in this country anymore. We need a way to mass arrest them.
Oh, so they needed something to happen like January 6th so that all the fervent, most diehard Trump supporters they could arrest. Wow. So January 6th was just a big setup. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. So the question is, does that mean anybody who wasn't arrested on January 6th for doing stuff was working with them? People that might be running around right now saying bad things about Trump and attacking Trump all the time. And does anyone know who I'm speaking of? There's a certain person who's in the news. He's constantly saying things. He's always attacking Trump and being accused of being all these things. But think about it. Think about it. Who's one person who was there screaming in a megaphone who never got arrested, who's anti-Trump, was going against Trump in this election, said, well, people don't vote and all this stuff. And now he's still saying he doesn't like Trump and all this stuff. And yeah, I think that person, that person is a fed up for sure. Jesus. Please, buddy, I told you, you have to go to bed. Besides Ray Epps, there's another one. There's another guy. Rick Fuental? Yeah, something like that. January 6th might have been a setup, but some people fell for it, and now the Dems use it all the time. Let's be real, no feds can make me do what I don't want to do. Yeah. Carter was the governor of Georgia for 8 years. Yeah. So, man, I don't know. Should we jump to the end, or should we?
June 2020, exactly when Brian Cole made his first alleged purchases of the pipe bomb parts. We had some reason to do a mass roundup, not just of Trump, but of Trumpism, all Trump, pro-Trump networks that enabled his rise to power. Now, would you believe me if I told you that in this section, clear Trump win, this scenario posited a comfortable electoral college victory for Trump, 286 to 252, but that Biden would win the popular vote, so they could try to make some sort of argument that because Biden won the popular vote, that he's the legitimate president. If you remember, that's the play that they were making at Harvard with Lawrence Tribe and all those guys. Everyone's saying, actually, repeal the Electoral College. The Electoral College is not legitimate. Yeah, you should protest if Trump wins the Electoral College. See, they say here, so the game ended in threats of constitutional crisis, threats of secession, but they have to make sure the popular will prevails by abolishment of the Electoral College and making D.C. and Puerto Rico states. Key actions include, so they had Bill Kristol and David Frum, two never Trump Republicans, role play Trump, and they had John fucking Podesta personally role played Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, and the guy in charge of the $375 billion slush fund. He got promoted. Instead of getting indicted for doing this, John Podesta got promoted to $1/3 of $1 trillion slush fund for his own friends and cronies. So when we put our never Trump friends pretending to be Trump against John Podesta.
Yes, we need the Electoral College. The Electoral College was set up for a reason, because they didn't want a single state or two states to be able to control everything. I mean, think about it. At the time when the country was founded and there was 13 colonies, it became 13 states. New York could have basically, if they would have went on population alone, New York could have pretty much swung any election they wanted on their own, just by numbers. That's why they created the Electoral College. Because so that way it wouldn't be just one state could swing everything. Yeah, the cities would rule over the areas. Flynn was involved. Making Puerto Rico a state may not be the win Dems think it will be. No, it might not be. I mean, Puerto Rico, lots of times Puerto Rico elects Republican governors and stuff, but DC can't be a state. So that's just, unless they're just going to throw away the Constitution. But who knows? I am a Trump supporter, and I wasn't there. I'm a Trump supporter. I was a Trump supporter, and I have to admit, I wasn't a Trump supporter immediately when he announced he was running for office in 2016 or whatever it was. When he came down to things, I wasn't immediately a Trump supporter. At the time, I was supporting Ben Carson. I thought Ben Carson would make a great president at the time. But Trump is the man we needed, and we got what we needed. And ever since then, since he won the primary in 2016, I never looked back supporting him. I mean, I still call him out when he does things I don't like, but he's not the hero we want, but he's the president we need. At this point, he really is. These people don't believe in democracy. They are Nazis. Yes. Virginia was a powerhouse. I think was it Virginia? I thought it was New York was the most populous state at that time. What's up, Highway? WWE hasn't stopped.
And the room split on those two camps to role play out how to find a way to get rid of Trump, even if he won the election legally. The first priority to legitimize the Electoral College results. That's the fucking law. If that's not legitimate, then how the fuck was it a crime to the alternate electors plot? That is the law. They arrested 19 of Trump's lawyers and campaign officials for even thinking about the very thing they all, 70 of them, colluded and schemed to do. So they said Trump's first objective, dastardly, was to say, hey, the Electoral College is legitimate. By pushing narratives that cast doubt on Biden's popular vote victory and portraying widespread protests of Donald Trump as undemocratic and promoting mob rule. So immediately, play one is Trump wins the Electoral College. Do you see part of why on election night I was so insistent about how the biggest story of the night was the popular vote victory? Because it robs them of this very thing they plotted in 2020. So move one, John Podesta, Jennifer Granholm, Donna Brazil, Rosa Brooks play, hey, remember those Black Lives Matter street protests that we just agreed we were all going to bribe and fund and do favors for so that they would do protests of Trump? Well, we're rolling them out now. And Trump is saying, hey, that's mob rule. I won the election. And they're portraying that as him delegitimizing an illegal thing. He would have won the election. The Trump campaign, they say, planted agent provocateurs into the protests to ensure they turned violent. So this group of high-level military...
This is crazy. Audra says, I was, because I remember Trump back in the 80s, 90s on a talk show saying if he ever saw American trouble, he'd run for president. Trump is the man for this moment. Trump is the one we need. He just needs to rework his administration. Prince of the Air Jr. says, due to a technicality. You got to go now. You got to go to bed. All right? I've asked you repeatedly. You keep playing with things. You have to go to bed. I meant it to 666 after my name. Okay. I'm not fond of Trump's personality, but love his policies that benefit USA. Policies over personality. Yeah. No one gets punished. Yeah. I think his cabinet is fantastic this time. Oh, thank you, Richard. Yes. Virginia had 12 electoral votes. PA, Massachusetts 10 each. New York 8. All right, I was wrong then. I thought for some reason New York didn't. For some reason I thought it was New York was the biggest one. Can't comprehend how Trump has the ability to handle pressure the way he does. I think it has a lot to do with the business he's in and the stuff he's done, all the deals he's done and different things. It's a big. This guy's talking about J6. It probably was Yeah, my brother likes Trump's personality too. We've got the rope. I can't wait. Skip to the last 10 minutes. Okay. No. What happened? 57 minutes.
Any more explicitly than I've already laid it out? Fund them. They're not formally associated with us currently. Bring them in by resourcing them. 6 times in this 22-page document in June 2020, they deliberately, these same people, using conspiracy, crimes, sedition, insurrection, to overturn a democratically elected president, to overturn a Democrat free and fair, by their own acknowledgement, free and fair election with a clear Trump win. 6 times they mentioned the importance of provoking that breakdown on January 6th. So when Brian Cole purchased the first pipe bomb parts in June 2020, I have to wonder. Do I need to say it any more explicitly than I've already laid it out?
Say it.
Did this group, directly or indirectly, for example, as they shared this roadmap around and it flew around the entire mainstream press, everyone report on this. The New York Times report on this. New York Times Transition Integrity Project. In this article right here. What was the date of this? November 1st, 2020. I mean, there's a million. If you just a bipartisan group, here's in the Boston Globe, a bipartisan group. Yeah, Democrats and never Trump Republicans. That's what they call bipartisan. Gamed out what a contested election would look like and offer recommendations. Hey, assholes at the Boston Globe. Hey, Jess Bidgood. Hey, Globe staff. Did you bipartisan, huh? They just offered recommendations. Hey, asshole. Did you read the final 2 pages of the document, which is all about how to stop Trumpism? To ensure that the networks that enabled Trump's rise to power are permanently demobilized because they're inimical to our society, and that there needs to be a robust, intentional, specific strategy to eradicate them. Hey, this bipartisan group of participants around a contested election offer recommendations. Hey, did you read what the recommendations were, asshole? The recommendations were about how to find ways to end the tradition of legal immunity so that you could arrest Trump and his family.
What happened?
They literally specifically targeted Trump and only Trump for how to find a way to throw him in jail.
What happened?
What I'm saying is, as, I don't know, let's say John fucking Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, and the guy who would get promoted for his good work in this coup plotting with a $375 billion personal slush fund. Do you think maybe as they were plotting this, they were, what was their phrase? Resource? Do you think they were maybe looking around at people who might help with these kind of activities? Hey, what if we need to induce a breakdown on January 6th to stop the bicameral meeting of Congress? Well, shit. Maybe we'll have to buy more time. Maybe we'll need a pipe bomb. If there's a pipe bomb on January 6th, they'll probably delay the vote by weeks because it'll be a national security concern. It'll buy us more time. And then they already had the capacity in place. They could have simply used it for the second part of the memo. Hey, actually, we don't need it to stop a vote from approving Trump. We could take those same pipe bombs and we could use that as the predicate for our recommendations about finding a way to imprison Trump and his family and have that also be a way to initiate with public legitimacy a robust, intentional, specific strategy to eliminate all the networks that enable Trump's rise to power and forcibly demobilize them. Is that why Brian Cole bought the first pipe bomb parts in June 2020 as this exact war game was happening? Now, let me say something, which is that I don't know the answer to that question about the Transition Integrity Project connection to January 6th. That is not a facial allegation. What I'm stressing is that if I were a federal investigator, that'd be the first fucking place I look.
I don't want to listen to music. What's going on with this music?
Stop the election winner from taking office. They were simultaneously obsessed 8 times in a 22-page document. They stressed the importance of not letting Trump use the National Guard to disperse the protests. The president's ability to federalize the National Guard to stop our protests or invoke the Insurrection Act to...
Wow, invoke the Insurrection Act. What do you know? Let's see. So KBT says they wouldn't invite Trump to dinner or meet my daughter, but his business says it's great to run the country. Mass arrests were planned for a Harris win. According to Edward Casey, everything we believe is a lie. Trump knows more than he lets on. How many cases are really plays? Popcorn, yellow stripe, smile. Okay. An entire U.S. history, Rhode Island's 3 electoral votes, no change. Well, that's the minimum. One, every state's got to have at least 1 congressman and 2 senators. So I guess that's all they got. Trump has gotten a little more gruff to the point where he's gotten older. Trump's personality keeps him in the news. They can't help but cover him spout off. Jesuit fastest bundle of sticks. Audra, they try to kill him. He's entitled to be gruff and rude. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just waiting for him to yell, "You're fired," like he used to on The Apprentice. It's all connected. The Democrats would use something like this to arrest everyone. Republicans would probably hold a hearing. I voted for a successful businessman who was afraid to stir things up. Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1, no member of legislation will be subject to arrest except for treason, felony, breach of peace. Trump needs to start pew pew back. Sounds like a huge door to walk through. It does. Sorry he got hurt. Poor baby. Yeah, was crawling around under my chair, and I didn't know he would turn my chair, and I guess the wheel got his finger. When he said, "Hey, asshole," I had a flashback from my drill sergeant. I thought he was calling me. It was the night before Christmas. He lived all alone in a 1-bedroom house made of plaster and stone. I had come down the chimney with presents to give just to see who in the dwelling did live. Trump was used like Kirk to derail the Tea Party. They got to Kirk. Open for business. Gymnasts. Yeah. Overtired kiddo. Yeah, he is. He's overtired. He needs to go to bed. Trump was used like Kirk to derail the people. They got to Kirk. Almost got to T-Man. Oh, I'm talking about pool. Was that a bloody nose? My son would get them all the time. No, he didn't have a bloody nose. I don't think he did. No, it didn't. I don't think it was his finger, I think. My little brother did too. Once we kissed our kids goodnight, we didn't speak to them again, just gently walked them back to bed. They knew we would talk in the morning. 3 days was the most it took. Poor Jim is so sweet. Good grandpa. I try. Anthony, you deserve the future. If you end up alone, it's because it's what you chose. Bella moved a bit too. I'll fix her in a second. Quo Warranto. Trump is a master of the game. Art of War, I believe he'll win. Your son had so bad it would just pour out. I don't think his nose. Now you're gonna make me go look to see if his nose was bleeding. I didn't see it. Look all about a strange sight I see. No tinsel, no presents, not even a tree. Not checking my mantle, just boots filled with sand. A wall hung picture full of far distant lands. Did Did you miss the part where I said I love his policies? Geez, I didn't want to say I hated personality, just say things that cringe. No, I understand. You're cool. You're good, Liza. It's good. That's all right. Joe acted as President Trump, busy setting stage for return. Yeah. My people have been fighting for this country for a long time. We ain't stopping. Listen, my children, you will see the midnight ride of Trump is here, who won the land, who hail by sea, sail among the tsunami flags waving in wind 3. With medals and badges and awards of all kind, a sobering thought came alive in my mind. From this house was different. It was dark and dreary. I found the home of a soldier. I could see that most clearly. Kirk was about removing the most effective Trump ally in the electorate. I believe that. I believe that. I think there was some. It's what the mafia does: clean up loose ends. No stopping fighting for our republic like our ancestors did. My son's bloody nose was from the blood vessels, thin layer of skin and nose pressure. Joe didn't act like he was president, and Trump isn't setting the stage to come back. Okay. If the pipe bomber was hired by Democrats to explain why their DOJ didn't find him, well, the fact of his family's connections with these people, with Ben Crump and people connected to the Biden DOJ and all that, that explains why they didn't go after him. Someone knew. The soldiers at night before Christmas, what Anthony is posting. Okay. Seasons in the sun, I was black and sheep and family. I could see kid girlfriend once I was deployed. Any gripers up in this bitch? The DOJ is headed by an order of Malta. You're right, Joe did lousy job setting a stage for these 4 years. Okay. All right. So I caught up on all the chats. Sorry.
Deploy active military domestically. They did not want Trump to be able to deploy the military to break up protests.
Oh, kind of like what they're doing right now. They're suing all over the place. They got judges basically ruling saying that Trump can't do it.
National Guard. Again, this is in a show of numbers in the streets, and action in the streets may be the decisive factors. The streets will be the decisive factors. The problem is that Trump may be able to rely on law enforcement actors, including National Guard, to counter mass left-wing BLM-style protests against Trump winning the election fair and square. The National Guard. The National Guard. The National Guard. The National Guard. They specifically wargamed it. The Trump campaign asked the DOJ to prepare the National Guard for deployment to maintain order against potential protests. Mark Milley sabotaged the deployment of the National Guard on January 6th. Trump wanted, Pelosi and Milley. Trump wanted to send the National Guard, and it was Mark Milley and Nancy Pelosi. I wonder.
You've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. You've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. You've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. You've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds.
Was Mark Milley keyed into this plan? The Transition Integrity Project? As a never-Trumper, very close to this whole network. Remember, Mark Milley, just like Chris Wray, he got pardoned, blanket pardon, and he was kept over by the Biden administration for 2.5 years until he parachuted off to make millions at JP Morgan Bank. He was rewarded. He was kept on as a Democrat. President Biden could have appointed a new chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Instead, he took Trump's pick. Mark Milley betrayed Trump, just like Chris Wray on the January. Think about this. The FBI director responsible for the failure of January 6th was kept on as FBI director for all 4 years by a Democrat. Same with Mark Milley. I would not be surprised if you find that Brian Cole had some weird military friends in his later years. This is another way they do it. Military counterintelligence, not just FBI or JTTF or DHS. And again, if I were the FBI, I would be subpoenaing the shit out of the Transition Integrity Project network. I would get a list of all 65, 70 names. I would under penalty of, you just like subpoena all files. They're part of this criminal investigation. You could justify that for their alternate electors thing alone. But that same group out of Georgetown University, National Guard, Trump, Rosa Brooks's colleagues over there. If you remember, I did this video. I think it's got like 5 million views or something. They're planning mass destabilizing riots, such scale the only National Guard can contain, and pre-planning a way to block Trump from activating the National Guard. It's in January 2024. NBC reports a network of public interest groups and lawmakers nervous about Trump's potential return to power is quietly devising plans to foil any effort. But read what they actually say. This is about protests, and it's being organized out of Georgetown Law, the exact place where Rosa Brooks is. And again, Georgetown's right in the heart of D.C. It's the CIA Central to stop the military from squashing the protests that they themselves are deliberately designed to.
I mean, how is this not a massive criminal conspiracy that they could just start arresting people for? I don't understand. But then again, I don't know. Maybe they can't get indictments. Maybe, I don't know. These jurisdictions are so corrupted and so, TDS, full of TDS, people suffering from TDS, that there's no way that they're going to be able to get, there's no way to get, get them to actually indict people. I don't know. I don't know. This is crazy. And Anthony says, Plan A worked. They went into the Capitol. Plan B was the fireworks. They didn't need it, so they tried to bury it. KBT says maybe a little white noise machine would help. He does sleep with a TV on, which I don't. His mother started and went to sleeping with the TV on thing, and it's like he's got to have a TV on, and then if the show that he doesn't, the episode is not something he likes, then that's the problem, because he doesn't know how to work the controllers and stuff. So then he ends up shutting it off, and then he has to get somebody to put it back on for him. Those idiots in the streets don't reflect the sane American public. Enter U.S. Marshals. It would be nice. Didn't that bitch Maxine say punch him in the face? Yeah, she did. War games and tabletop exercises are retarded. Yeah, see you double. What's up? And I want to go here. He says, I'm just kidding. I don't have any problem with any person in particular, or I don't care about the gripers really. And I think most of them are just young people who needed to put their What's wrong? What's wrong?
To create an insurrection to overthrow the government in their own planning documents, i.e., as we covered right here. But if you've got that June date, so getting back to this, June is when you started buying the pipe bomb parts. That's not a random detail. And I hope the FBI, that this can be downloaded on them, because they say, what was it? June, purchased them June 1, June 8. And then, so he could have started to get some of the parts around that time. And then a week after the election, gets the remaining parts that are needed. Could have been reapproached at that time. Hey, kid. Also on June 20th, bought more parts. June 3rd, bought the timers. All right, let's see. Boy, that was a long detour. I think it was worth it.
Hey, what's up, everyone? JC Sense here at Micro Center here in Tustin, and we're going to do something today. Look, I get that the tech is all doom and gloom and everything looks terrible, but it is not impossible to build a very powerful gaming rig for $1,500 still in 2025, given as how messy things are. So today what we're going to do is, through the help of Micro Center, we're going to kind of walk around, we're going to talk about some parts, we're going to talk about some things that are available and some options to you if you live anywhere near a Micro Center or travel to one. Because what you can build today still for this price is actually pretty impressive. So don't just think it's impossible right now to do anything with PC gaming. It might just be impossible to do like NVIDIA high end, but we have choices. We're going to talk about that today.
Hey, Jay. 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 What? We got work to do.
Yeah, I'm playing World of Warships. Yeah. World of Warships is the free-to-play naval strategy game where you command the most iconic and famous warships from World War I and World War II, recreated with stunning detail and accuracy. Build your fleet while participating in various games.
Uh-oh. Sorry. Oops. I didn't know that video was going to end so fast. Sorry about that. Can't trespass on the Capitol grounds. Why Why such a tight video? Should have made more on either side of that statement. Fix Bella, please. These people need to be imprisoned. This is the only boomer I know who isn't watching Fox or CNN. I'm not a boomer, man. I'm a millennial. Or actually, no, Gen X. I'm a Gen X. I hope Benz and Carol find out what's in the Patriot Act 2.0 that Pelosi and Schumer try to push 2 days after January 6th. I thought one of those elude mouse said it, though. Loudmouth. If anyone in the administration is at a gasoline station, you see a crowd, you say they're not welcome, you push back on them, yeah. FYI, DOJ, no trespassing charge possible, no signs posted, elections are the people's, addition appropriate signs, notice temporary restricted area needs Secret Service posted. Kilo, a lot of boomers here in the chat. That's a bit rich about Millie, to be honest. The CJCOS rotates between the services and staggered from POTUS for continued continuity reasons. I do not watch CNN or Fox. Good job, boomers. You're above the propaganda. Smart boomers. Okay. Exercise your rights. I like you choosy, but sometimes your sentences aren't. I understand you just talk the text, but you aren't able to put together a sentence unless you're Kamala. I will say this. I had intention to go to J6, and somebody I know worked at one of these places flat out told me not to go. It would be bad. I trust them. I knew it was. Yeah. Military tribunals are the way to go, according to Whittick Mike. When Milley became chairman, it was the Army's turn. Yeah. Biggest Trump disappointment has been a lack of making these people's lives a living hell like they did to him. He talks big, but 3 years they will still be in the streets. Yeah. I'm one of the sharper tools in the shed, man. Yeah. How much longer do we have to listen to this guy? I can't follow the speech pattern. Well, that's over now. Trying to indict a Democrat in D.C. will be impossible. Yeah, they had the guy, whatever Sussman was, that the guy Sussman who falsified the documents, the guy who did the thing like for Carter Page, who changed the, basically committed fraud and did all this stuff and changed the paperwork, and they refused to indict him. You think the pipe bomber will talk about who hired him? James needs Mr. Rogers. Yes. Hey, Highway, what's up? Hello, Highwayman. So many police were assaulted. Yes, somewhere. There was some people. Going to sleep to subliminal messages isn't good. Grandkids crying. Yeah. I'm 58. I don't have a TV in my bedroom. Poor baby. Yeah. He said his binky rolled under the bed. He couldn't get it. Doge went in to audit the government instead of relying on its self-reporting. Yeah. We need to demand a complete Doge of DC. They were doing a good job. Yeah, they were. You look like you can wrangle some cattle. Chaos tonight. Something going. Oh, chaos here. Or are you talking about somewhere else? Sometimes the government forgets the power it holds comes from the people. 11K computer. Video ended. Well, I wasn't in the room. I had to go take care of something. Not anymore, but my day. World of Warships is hot garbage. I can't. Hi, bet. Ended weirdly. Bella fixed herself. Okay, boomer. He won't be. He's busy with legacy and credit for stopping wars. I call it as you see it, hoping and wishing I'm wrong. Those who got pardoned can get charged with other crimes not covered by the auto pen. It depends on how the pardon was worded. If it was for like open-ended pardon, basic for anything, some of the J6 committee stuff, and I think Miley. I don't know what Milley's pardon was for, but that's the thing. Microsoft has created so much BS to top load on Windows 10. I can't even run my World of Tanks account. I'm a boomer. My dad was on the Saratoga in World War II. I'm the boomer he was talking about, Jim, I think. Okay. Declaration of Independence. Governments are institutions among men derived from just the powers and consent of the governed. And that whenever form of government becomes destructive to these ends, the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute a new government. Almost 3,000 National Guard deployed to D.C. with many more layers ready for call-ups. Don't be ashamed, boomers. You are from the pinnacle of American society. Be proud. My dad was on the Sarah after the war. He crewed her to her final nuclear test. Hey, hello. How? How now, brown cow? How? White man. Dad was machinist, small world. I prefer War Thunder, but it crashes my PS4 Pro, and my PC just crashes. Play WoW, but World of Warships, but hate play or time kill these days. These things are funny. And then old school for $9.99. Hey Jim, asking for prayers for my she took a hit to the head and a fall, crawling around the attic looking for a tree stand. She's 83. Why can't she stop trying to do it? Oh my God, what was she doing crawling around in the attic at 83? Wow, I don't. Definitely prayers for your mom. Wow. I guess it feels weird hitting this, but let's say some prayers. Let's say some prayers for. Let's say some prayers for old school's mom.
Dear Lord, baby Jesus, or as our brothers to the south call you, Jesus, we thank you so much for this bountiful harvest of Dear Lord, baby Jesus.
So, yes, definitely. Prayers for your mom, and because she's 83, they learn to do things themselves, not wait for others. Dad was a boiler man. Civilian justice system is corrupted. Military justice is our only hope, is its point. Prayers for your mom. Old school prayers for your mom. Bro, you don't got to read my comments. I'm messing up your live. Well, I try to read everybody's comments, man. I try to, any comments, I try to play through them. That's part of the show. He was born in 1905, died when you were 13. Autopen, president cannot pardon for periods he's not president. Yeah. Old school, set up her tree after Thanksgiving and she won't be need to climb in the attic. Hey, Neurodivergent, what's up, man? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Yeah, I didn't even tell people. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Unks and buddies never talked war with us. Yeah, I'm not that old that my uncles were in World War II. My great uncles were in World War II. I did have a great uncle that was at the Chosin Reservoir, and he had some just look about him that you didn't want to mess with. WOTI, not wow, me we touted. We need civilian police sheriff auxiliaries as a kind of backup militia outside of the guard. Oh, I forgot to change the banner too. Sorry. So with that gracious $10 donation asking for the prayers for his mom, that brings our total to $90 away from a second additional hour. Yeah, sorry about your mom. Prayers, hugs, lots of love. There's no strict line. Sending prayers for your mom. Prayers for your mom. Your dad was in World War II? My dad served during the Vietnam. Like he didn't go to Vietnam. He was drafted and ended up as a surgical technician at Letterman General Hospital at the Presidio. So we got some interesting people in this chat. Yes, prayers definitely. Yes, prayers for your mom. All right, so let's. Trump issues an explosive warning to Europe, warns of civilizational erasure unless it stops mass migration. Trump administration is warning Europe that it faces civilizational erasure unless it gets its act together. The U.S. national security strategy says that while Europe is facing economic issues, these are eclipsed by the more stark prospect of civilization erasure. My dad is a boomer. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, technically, I think my dad is a boomer. He was born in like 1944, 45, 44. CW says, my dad has been in prison for over 30 years on a life sentence. So, wow. Sorry to hear. My dad was in World War II. He flew B-29s in the Pacific. I miss him, especially at Christmas. put in 29 years as a weapon-based specialist trained to fire battlefield nukes. So in a way, he really was a light bringer, light bearer. He just didn't. Want to be on the receiving end of that shit. Yeah, your dad was a World War II station in Alaska. Well, thank you for your service to all your fathers. So yeah, so we read this. So let's go. I'm gonna go forward and look for something. We kind of talked about this. So we got this news coming out of Venezuela. He says, your guys' dads fought alongside my grandpa. Respect. It says, voices within, many hope for U.S. attacks. So Venezuela, the people of Venezuela are actually hoping that the U.S. attacks to free them from the autocratic, tyrannical government of the Maduro regime. You know, they want to be freed from the yoke of communism. Repression in Venezuela has increased under the autumn threat of the United States military. Many would welcome an American attack as long as the hated regime falls. Venezuela is a country where many have lost hope for the future. 8 million people have fled the country in the last decade since the U.S. began its escalation at the end of the summer. And this is gonna. They want me to subscribe? No, I'm not subscribing. All right. It says Venezuela expands forces as the U.S. deploys warships nearby. Venezuela Army swore in 5,600 soldiers on Saturday. Wow, that's a lot. What are they going to do exactly? And they cranks up military pressure on the oil-producing country. Oh, they're going to say that. They'll throw that in there, huh? Maduro has called for stepped-up military recruitment after the U.S. deployed a fleet of warships and the world's largest aircraft carrier to the Caribbean under the pretext of combating drug trafficking. Well, they have been combating drug trafficking. Richard says, I'm about to turn 65. 10 years ago, I climbed a 60-foot blue spruce with a chainsaw and harvested a Christmas tree. Well, that's awesome. Anthony says, my father was in the military too, which is why he won custody and my mom had to leave. I've never blamed her. I left as soon as I could too. Okay. I will never buy another Christmas tree with glitter on it. My whole den is twinkling. Yeah. I used to like that. You know, I don't know. Found out they were, Linda Schaefer says, I found out they were next to the Yorktown when it went down. I'm fortunate to not have done prison time for my crimes, CW. And I don't plan on serving prison time either. Okay, well, yeah, don't go to prison. It sucks. Don't go to prison. Prison's bad. It's not fun. So they say. Washington has accused Maduro of leading the Cartel of the Suns, which is declared a terrorist organization. Maduro asserts the American deployment aims to overthrow him and seize the country's oil reserves. We don't want that oil. Under no circumstance will we allow an invasion by an imperial force, says Colonel Gabriel Rondon, Saturday during a ceremony at Fuerte Tijuana, Venezuela's largest military complex in Caracas. According to the official figures, Venezuela has around 200,000 troops and an additional 200,000 police officers. Rocket News says tensions mount as the U.S. and Venezuela's President Trump continues military pressure in the region. Okay. And then this story. Trump pardoned this Democrat, and then he decided, oh, you're going to, Richard's going to bed? All right. Okay. So many memories. I was reading an article about Pearl Harbor this evening. I hope we never have anything like that happen again. Yeah. Good night, Richard. Good night, Richard. Good night, Richard. Yeah. You got a purple Christmas tree. Yeah. Top of the world, Ma. Trump regrets pardoning Rep. Henry Cuellar after Dem announced he's running for re-election. Yes. It's not that he's running for re-election. It's that he's running for re-election as a Democrat after the Democrats stabbed him in the back and persecuted him because he was, spoke out against the Biden border chaos. What's it say? Huckleberry Hucklebee is re-educating 1,200 pastors in Israel. The spiritual fleecing is going to be crazy. Oh God. I believe in God. I'm religious. I'm not a fan of organized religion. I don't, I don't like what became of the Catholic Church, how they hid the pedophiles and did all that stuff and transferred them around. I think there should be some kind of retribution. The church should have to pay a price for what they did. President Trump expressed angry and regret over his eye-raising pardon of Cuellar last Wednesday after the poll quickly confirmed his re-election plans as a Democrat. Cuellar, who sits in one of the House Democrats' most competitive seats, faced federal bribery, money laundering, and foreign agent charges for allegedly taking $600,000 from Azerbaijan's state-owned oil company and a Mexican bank. Cuellar turned out to be a creep, like so many Trump backs, like Lindsey Graham. Well, Trump saw what they did to Cuellar. He thought they targeted him because he spoke out against the border and stuff, and he's a pro-life Democrat. And so he thought, like, hey, you'd be better off coming over here in the Republican Party. But he thought he was persecuted, and he was, would have been fine with them running for re-election if, as a Republican, because he figured, why would you go back to the Democrat Party after what they did to you? They abandoned you. They tried to throw you in prison, you and your wife in prison, because you spoke out. And you decided to run as a Democrat. Wow. Only a short time after signing the pardon, Congresswoman Henny Cuellar announced that he'd be running for Congress again in the great state of Texas, a state where I received the highest number of votes ever recorded as a Democrat. Such a lack of loyalty, something that Texas voters and Henry's daughters will not like. Oh, well, next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, because it was Cuellar's daughters that lobbied Trump to pardon the father, basically saying, that he was targeted. Because they're Democrats to the bone. Yeah. Trump's pardon of Cuellar, a rare, moderately pro-life Democrat, had perplexed many Republicans. Cuellar's seat in Texas' 28th district is rated one of 6 House Democrat-held toss-up races by Election Handicapper Political Report. Maybe he could be a dino. He kind of votes like he's a pro-life Democrat who was for border security and, backed ICE, was against illegal immigration and stuff. So it's kind of weird. He's like, I don't know. Unless he changes now and gets the message and decides to, back everything, every crazy thing. Oh, wow. Prince of the Air Jr. says, I did a year and a half from 86 to 87, got out, tried to do the right thing, fell back into my egoic-driven bad side, ratted out again, 3 to 90, did 11 years. Wow. Got out 4 to 2001, got off parole 10 to 20. Well, I don't think anyone should be punished for their past mistakes if they're doing the right thing. 2005. Should we wake up the grandson again? No, please don't. I think he's still up. I heard no one could serve more than 2 terms. Vance can carry on. What if Trump ran as VP in 2008, 28? I don't think it's possible. I think that's all not going to happen. 10 to 2005. Damn it, fingers. Since 2004, Cuellar has survived numerous tough challenges from Republicans and Democrat primary contenders alike. Trump's pardon has drawn praise from House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. The indictment was a very thin to begin with, in my view. Jeffries told CNN, I don't know why the president decided to do this. I think the outcome was exactly the right outcome. The president shed light on his decision to give Cuellar an unconditional pardon by posting a letter he received from the rep's daughter last month begging him to spare their father. They pointed to Cuellar's outspoken criticism of President Biden's border policies and his alleged bluntness about the ex-president may have been a factor in the indictment. I think so. We also believe that our father's independence and honesty may have contributed to how this case began. With all our hearts, we humbly ask you to show mercy and compassion to our parents. See, I could not imagine doing a decade in prison. No. So this is just this letter they wrote. Thank you, please. So Cuellar, who voted to impeach Trump twice during his first term, this guy voted to impeach Trump twice during his first term, was accused of taking bribes between 2014 and 2021 via a sham consulting contracts and a series of front companies and middlemen. So I think his wife ran a consulting company, and so they're calling it a sham or whatever. So I don't know. TW says, I haven't even tried talking to my dad, who's been there for 31 years. He says, I actually have been issued a U.S. patent for a stupid guitar stand while I was on work release in prison as a tool and die machinist. Trump cannot run for any position that puts him in the succession list. South Texas Democratic confirms re-election plans to reporters shortly after Trump announced a pardon. The Dems were vicious, and all because Henry strongly wanted correctly border security. He was against illegals pouring in a country totally unchecked and unvetted. It was very unfair what they did to him and his family, and so his daughters wrote me a beautiful letter about their parents. I've never spoken to the congressman or his wife or his daughters, but felt very good about fighting for a family that was tormented by very sick and demented, deranged people. That. NBC just says, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Trump bashes Cuellar for running as a Democrat. He didn't really bash him. He just said, Trump blasts Cuellar for remaining Democrat after pardon. Next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And then this, Henry Cuellar attacks Biden-era DOJ for weaponizing indictment following the pardon. So this guy says that Biden DOJ weaponized the DOJ to come after him and everything, but he's going to, still be they accuse the Biden-era Justice Department of weaponizing prosecution following his pardon. I did speak against the Biden administration about open borders. Absolutely, it was weaponized. He told Brett Baer. President Trump announced Wednesday he would be granting the Texas Democrat and his wife a full unconditional pardon. I want to thank President Trump for the pardoning. He said, God has been good to my wife and my family. I certainly say it again. Thank you, President Trump. The Justice Department alleged the pair accepted $600,000 in bribes. Federal authorities indicted him in May 2024 on 14 counts, including bribery, conspiracy, and money laundering. He'd be up for a round of golf with the president. I'd play golf with him, definitely. Trump as VP is basically him retiring and still being able to help throw some weight around and technically wasn't elected to the case. Yeah. He plays with his granddaughter. Yeah, he plays with his granddaughter. CW, my boss man was cool, and I made an attempt at building a half-scale replica of Nikola Tesla's rotary turbo engine. The rotor came out bad, eccentric, and I've never had another chance. And he's up again, yes. Wait until a Democrat turns out to be a piece of shit. What? Say it ain't so. I'm shocked. Trump pardons. Yeah. What? I can't hear you, buddy. All right, 1 minute, all right? And I'll come tuck you in. Give me 1 minute. Waltz faces political jeopardy over Minnesota fraud controversy.
the video was very disturbing.
Oh, it's the guy complaining about the video. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is facing a challenging political future as he finds himself at the epicenter of a growing fraud scandal in his home state. The controversy, which focuses on hundreds of millions of dollars allegedly stolen from federally funded nutrition program, has led to more than 50 convictions. The New York Times gave the story national attention last week, highlighting statements from the federal prosecutors that as much as $1 billion in taxpayer money may have been stolen in separate plots. I think now, watch out for his other hand. He's laying on the, so he's fine. It was even Walz's longtime allies wondering if the governor should walk away from a re-election bid for a third term. The governor, I think, has done a respectable job, a good job in Minnesota for years. He's been here, but he clearly is vulnerable. In my view, he is riskier than any Democrat candidate might run, says Ember Rakot Jung, a former Minnesota Democrat state senator and a political analyst in the state. Pat Hacker's going to bed. Good night, Jim and Bella. Time to read a bedtime story. Yes. Well, yeah, this is going to... Hold on one second here. Well, I guess I can't do that, so... I was giving Jim an out. I was just going to be the last story, so... Oh, good night, Pat Hacker. Okay, yeah, I was just going to be the last story. I was just getting it off. Hey, you almost knocked the light down. Please stop. So, anyway. You'll stop what? Jung said what happened on his watch, he can't erase that. While she said the governor is taking steps to rectify it, including audits. This issue is going to surface through next year, and it's going to be a significant issue, especially if they find out it's $8 billion or $10 billion or something like that. A longtime Walz ally told in the state told the Hill that the controversy is obviously not that great. Well, he's also going to have the problem with that guy who killed those people that says that he paid him to do it. So, challenge that Minnesota is a very low tolerance for fraud, waste, and abuse. Well, it seems like they have a very huge tolerance since it was like $8 billion. The LA poll noted polling that showed Walz's disapproval ratings rising. The Minnesota Star Tribune showed that Walz had a 49% disapproval rating. Even suburban dads will bring it up to me over the summer. It was only 16 months ago when Walz vaulted into the national spotlight when he was picked as Kamala Harris's running mate. Do you think the reason he was picked as Kamala Harris's running mate is because they knew that he had all this fraud shit going on and he was dirty as fuck, so that they knew that they could get him to do whatever they wanted, and that he'd be up to do any types of crooked shit if they were in there? They wouldn't say anything about it. That's what I think. I think they knew about all the fraud. They were cool with it. Yeah. So, yeah, his stars faded after the loss, and I think he had some high hopes for him, but those days are gone. The governor at the beginning of this year was still seen as potential future Democrat presidential contender. However, he and Trump had regularly sparred. And, well, we're not electing somebody who's a retard. That's the bottom line. The president also has come under criticism himself after his remarks about Somali immigrants. Only by retards like Walz. We can go one way or the other. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking garbage into the country. I agree. Somalis should be out of here. Yeah, they've destroyed their own country and they're destroying ours. Cool, I agree. Walz seeking to go on and just fire back at Trump, saying that Thursday was unprecedented for a United States president to make that kind of attack. Got little children going to school today, and our president called them garbage. No, he called one person garbage. He called Ilhan Omar garbage. That's as jaded as they come, and I agree. 45 minutes of what? I don't know. What do you mean? Just trying to figure out a loophole with jiu-jitsu lawfare. The work includes ordering a third-party audit of Medicaid billing, creating a centralized fraud investigation. They just came up with a new program. They just came up with a new program for these to take advantage of, where they're going to pay people to take care of other people. This home health care thing that they were talking about, that they just came up with, to pay people for taking care of people that need it. So, governor's office securing new statutory and mandated requirements for high-risk Medicaid programs, including expanded background checks. Yeah. Well, how do you get a background check on somebody who you got no records on? Trump overplayed his hand, and Minnesotans aren't going to fall for it. Oh, okay, we'll see. Allies say Trump's comments will ultimately help Walz. Our election will be decided by purple Minnesotans, if you will. Oh, so Vikings fans? To use my favorite Bush words, he's bigly damaged. Trump's the one who used bigly. What is this guy talking about? I don't think it's a fatal blow. Well, I think it's very much an open question of the laws of political gravity return and may have been permanently altered by Trump. So, a poll showed those who participated were evenly split. Walz 57 approve his performance as governor, 47% disapprove. The people that approve obviously weren't paying attention. Skull! D.C. mayor, it's going to start some letter choosing. D.C. mayor is a spitting image of Kamala. Well, the buck stops with the government. I'm sorry, it just does. Adding that while people don't blame him directly for the fraud, running for a third term is risky. Governorship is important in Minnesota. It's our only stopgap between Trump and a divided legislature. So if we lose the governorship, we lose a lot. Anyway, that's crazy. That's just nuts. Anyway, I apologize to everybody for the chaos tonight with the show. Tomorrow night will be better. My grandson will be at his Meemaw's house, his other grandma's house, so he won't be bursting in tomorrow night. So I will be back 9 o'clock tomorrow night, or maybe even a little earlier. I apologize for what happened. YouTube has children's stories, yes. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. Please remember to hit the like. Please subscribe. Battery still charged with your grandson. Yeah, it is. No problem, Jim. Don't apologize. He's like family. Well, he's family to me. He's my grandson. I love him to death, but sometimes kids will be kids. Anyway, good night, everybody. Please hit like. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can improve on. I always take your advice to heart and try to do the best I can to make it better. Thank you all. Good night.